swinging. Derek Collins. 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 Swinging. Derek Collins.
I got us to where we can chat while we're waiting for Dyer. But it's me and Terps right now, just hanging out with the Dallas skyline in the back. Yeah, I'll answer the questions. Why not? Toughest hitter I've ever faced in my MLB career, definitely hands down, got to be Derek Jeter. The guy was, I always joke about this and say it, he was batting 13 out of 12 just because he was getting a hit before he could even get up there. I mean, he's just that good. He did such a great job of going the other way, no matter where you pitched him. He was just a good, smart hitter. Granted, I faced a lot of great hitters. One I can say which we'll talk about tonight, but Aaron Judge, great hitter. I'm in his book. He's in my book. So that's cool to see, with him in the home run thing, but we're not going to get into that. We'll talk about that later as well. Sucks too. I will put this out there, but because I was trying to watch the Mavs game, obviously we have our podcast here. Me and Mike Bassick are doing something completely separate. This is Mavs coverage. Me and him are diehard fans. Obviously going to the radio station and doing stuff with him. We already talked about this. So after every Mavs game, there will be a post-game show on here on my Twitch. We're going to be doing it on here. Him and I will do that. But we also talked about possibly doing coverage of the West Coast games. Me and him commentating live Mavs games. Obviously, we can't share the screen, but we'll be able to give you the play-by-play radio style of that. So just throwing that out there for all those that are in here. I know I have a lot of Texas fans in here. And if you love the Mavs, please come and kick it with me and Mike. We're trying to figure out what we're going to call it. I know if we've actually talked about, because obviously me and him played baseball together, or not together, but played baseball, and we've talked about this multiple times too, of actually doing commentary for baseball games. And we were going to call that Sliding Into the DMs, because Derek and Mike, that was our thing. That was a joke that we talked about, but we don't know if that's actually going to happen. Yeah, it didn't fail. It's actually creative. But just to keep that in mind, we will definitely be doing that as well. Like I said, it's going to be the Mavs post game and Mavs games. We'll be doing that live. Me and Mikey B. Don't know what we're going to call our show or whatever, but it will be Mavs content. Oh no, it's okay. Snag, that's fine. No, he was worried about the alert box going off, which I'll Venmo you this. Do one more sub. I want to see if it still pops up, but it's muted. Because that's what I'm trying to fit it in that screen up there in the top right. So we'll see. Just curious about that. Those are flying up. I will say your Stars jersey looks nice on you. God dang it. Cowboys. No, that's good right there. Oh, perfect. It did show up. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I need to make it smaller. Yeah, we don't have to mess with your team. I respect it. True. Man, where the hell is he? It's so funny you say that, because that was his nickname. Joey, how we doing? Dire time. Yeah, guys, if you have questions you want to ask me and Snag, let's do it. Or topics you think we should try to throw out there tonight, throw it in there to us. Because we've got free time right now. There's no such thing. Yeah, well, there's no such thing. I think we've covered so many boundaries with how disgusting we've been. We have been. I don't even know what language that would be. It's funny, I said the Dallas Stars, and here they are. They're live right now. They're playing the Avalanche. It definitely was. It definitely was. It was definitely good. What was I doing? I don't even remember. Oh my, yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if I can share that. I think that's once I retire, I think that'll be a story we can discuss. Hold on. So I got my questions now. They're coming in. Greg Abbott or Beto? Yeah, fuck Beto. We will not be voting for that piece of shit. You should. Oh, they were making me. So the whole time, every time that we would get to a hole, there'd be people talking or whatever. And Casey is a country singer here in Texas. He's pretty well known. This dude's got some good stuff. But he, no matter what, he would introduce me as the liberal friend of his. And everybody, like, for the most part, they knew who I was because we are in Texas. And, like, they followed baseball. They knew who I was. I don't want this to sound like I'm some, like, everybody knows me. That's not what I mean. But so he was telling everybody that. And then I was like, fuck it. Let's just go along with this. Let's have fun. Because I know if somebody followed me on Instagram, they're going to see I could give two shits about fucking Beto. And I'm far from liberal. So he was doing that the whole time. So that was funny. And that's where that, I guarantee that's where that question came from. Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're doing there. Is Dak ready to come back? Here's my thing. Look, I'm not a diehard Cowboys fan by any means. I cheer for him, whatever. We do have Terps, who is a new Cowboys fan. You've got a great thing going right now with Cooper Rush. Why rush? I realized what I'm saying, so I didn't want to say that. But why rush to get Dak back when you've got something good going? Fries are done. So I personally, and I want to, we'll see. We're going to see from the Cowboys fan here, newcomer. Let's see what his thoughts will be after, this. But I don't personally think Dak needs to come back yet. Let's just get him right. Let's just focus on making sure he's healthy. I think that's the number one. If he's your number one guy. He is your go-to quarterback. Don't waste this. Get him right and continue to ride the rush train that's going on right now. That's how I feel about that. That's me personally. Like I said, I'm not a true Cowboys fan. I'm a fan, but I'm not trust. Correct. Hit the ding. Can I get the ding? There he is. I think you need to do that the rest of the show today. I'm sorry. Just do it. Don't tell Dyer. Yes, but don't tell Dyer about it. And when he asks about it, just act like we don't hear it. Can you promise me that? You cannot. Okay. I feel like I'm going to be the one that fucks it up, though. Oh, yeah. But first, we still need your feedback on, do you think, as a Cowboys fan, Dak is ready to come back? The Cowboys fans aren't going to like that. Think about this. You have to start following them and paying attention to them now. You can't be this partial fan. Understandable. That's just one. No, this is so good to talk about, and this is why this will be good for us. Me and you can talk about this, and if this goes on the podcast thing, that's perfect. That's the question that's going to... There it is. My light bulb just came on. That's the... can you guys not hear Terps? Oh, damn. I did have the wrong thing. They should hear you now. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
I have no idea what you're talking about when you're like, do that every time Dyer's in
yeah,
here.
okay. So, well, let's start that over. So you guys can hear this. It's on you. When you
Sorry,
hear
I was
that,
looking at Dyer's text.
what'd he say?
He's trying to find space for a download.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Tell him we're stalling for him. So we're gonna make sure that
But don't.
Dyer doesn't know about that. So we're just gonna go forward. He has no idea. Second, we were talking about, because he's texting right now, so I'm gonna fill you guys in. Talking about Dak. He made the comment. He made the comment that he wants to stay with Rush while you ride the hot hand, which is true. But then he also said, if Dak comes back, what do you do when he does come back and he fails and he's not doing good after what you had going on? Now, what I was going to bring up after he said that, this is a Teddy Bridgewater situation right here. For those that don't know, Teddy Bridgewater was it 5-0?
Yeah.
And then Drew Brees came back, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember exactly how.
Don't look at the text I sent, by the way.
Saw that. That was pretty good. Point for you. But that was a good situation. So the Cowboys could have this same situation in their hands right now. They could have a Teddy Bridgewater situation. Now, here's the other thing too. If I'm Cooper Rush and they don't want to play me, I'm going to be ready to walk and go somewhere else, because that guy's going to get it. He's going to get a starting job somewhere.
I was literally talking about this with Jamie, with King Jamie. Also, congratulations to him getting married. We'll talk about that in the podcast too.
Yes.
But talking to him on the way back, in the car rather, and we both said, I'm like, this man, if he gets benched the rest of the season, he's going to go start somewhere.
100%.
Someone is going to pick him up and start him, and it will be before the end of the season.
Is he a Nick Foles comparable?
Nick,
go ahead, hit the button. You know I'm right. Go ahead, hit it. Thank you. But you can't tell me, think about this. You can't tell me that's not true. He was backed up. Carson Wentz comes into the game because Carson Wentz is hurt, takes him to the Super Bowl. He is literally living that exact situation now.
If I'm just saying,
I know.
There is a history right now in sports of people making premature decisions. Looking at you, Wisconsin. I could see the Cowboys. The money move is to bring back Dak. The immediate money move is to bring back Dak. That is the immediate money move. We're paying him stupid amounts of money. He's the face of the franchise. You bring him back. The smart move is you start Cooper Rush if you keep winning.
I like this. I want to give you the ding because I did like it, but I also want to give you the buzzer because Cowboys fans will hate that.
Oh, I know. I'm aware.
That's the only reason I'm giving you the buzzer. You don't deserve it because the comment was true, very spot on. I liked it, but I think the ding.
Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I'm learning. Right? If he goes back and he sucks, all Cowboys fans will say what I was saying before, but they'll say it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
If he does well, it's just I don't know. Is that the point with?
But this is
I'm just saying. What happens if he fucking sucks?
There's a good chance of that. But
what happens if they don't win?
I feel like Dak hasn't had any true competition behind him.
True.
No pressure, I should say. Whereas, think about this. We can use this in baseball terms. It'll be easy for both of us to understand. You've got Lindor at shortstop. I want to use the Mets. That's your favorite team.
Yep.
I don't know who their prospect is, but let's just say Terps is the number one shortstop prospect right behind him. Lindor is struggling. They're going to give that other guy a chance because there's pressure on him. And now that they see this shortstop come up and having success, then all of a sudden, now it puts the pressure
you want a perfect example of that right now, actually. It's Francisco Alvarez, who is a top MLB catcher prospect. And you have a struggling James McCann.
Yep.
And the Mets, I mean, granted, the Mets called Francisco Alvarez up like last week. But that's been the talk the entire years. McCann's been hurt. McCann's been struggling. He's never living up to his $40 million contract. He hasn't hit the ball well. He's a great game caller.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal game caller. Has 2 no-hitters under his belt as a catcher. has managed the pen well and everything like that, but he's hitting under 200.
I know, and that's why you got to have the pressure.
Exactly. Now there is the pressure because Nito is okay. Nito was never going to give him pressure on the hitting side.
What a name,
never
by
was.
the way, too. Can say that again?
Tomas Nito.
Nito. That was Go ahead. Yep, I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this then, that we're past that part because you're right. They need pressure. Hansy in here says, when has Dak sucked? Okay, when has he actually been good? Can't throw a long ball. Every time that all of his stats go up. And again, I love Dak. I want people to realize I don't have anything against Dak. I'm pointing out the things that need to be pointed out. The reason his stats are so, I guess you could say, good or high like they are is because they're playing from behind and they can no longer feed the ball to Zeke or Pollard, which that's a whole nother topic too, is Pollard's your new number one. I'm sorry. He has to be. Mm-hmm. But second, you cannot tell me that Dak has been that great when all of the time he gets in there, it's absolutely trash bucket minutes, which garbage time stats, just like Hulaman said, or Hulan Mall. And the reason I say that is a prime example. I got to witness this firsthand. Cleveland Browns come to Dallas, whoop that ass. Big time. Pumped about that. Can I get a ding?
Welcome, sir.
Jesus, feet.
All right, he's live. But let me finish this real quick. Dyer, hold on. So Browns come to town. They play the Cowboys, whooping that ass. They're up. It was like 40-17. Of course, Dak's stats are going to go up because Browns play prevent defense. They're just letting things come in there. They're passing the ball, and boom, here we are. That's how he gets, and he ends up throwing for
whatever you Dyer.
350 yards, whatever it was. That cannot be something that makes somebody good. You cannot be constantly playing from behind and be considered a good quarterback, and that's when you get your stats. That's when you get all the good stuff. And I know people hate this, but at least, and I hate stirring this pot, but Tony Romo didn't play as much behind as Dak has. So we can't just sit here and say Dak has been so good. He has not. And especially coming back from the injury of last year, I get it. But he can only really complete short passes. Never takes a chance on a long ball. That's what I love about Cooper Rush right now. He is not afraid to launch that shit out there.
He's got nothing to lose.
He's created 2 penalties, I think it was, because I was talking about this with somebody. 2 penalties, and he's completed multiple passes from out there. I think it was 30 plus yards. Just something to think about. That's just me. All right, Terps, take it away. Let's get this rolling.
Dyer, look at you. Welcome, Mr. Dyer.
We were stalling for you.
Sorry.
Did you like my pun?
I did.
I know he laughed.
Now recording.
I know he laughed really loud on that one for sure.
I sent that and I was like, oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know. We gonna try it. We're gonna try it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, when am I streaming from a Tesla? Oh, that's a good idea, Patty. I should stream from a Tesla. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Off the Fair Poll, episode 30. We got myself, we got Dutch Oven 45, and Mr. Derek Holland, and Mr. Van Dyer Maker. Choppy is off with the kiddos tonight. However, he experienced some history. Lucky son of a bitch. But we got a lot to talk about. We weren't here last week because 2 weeks ago we tried to do it at Derek's house and it was a goddamn show. So we kind of just passed over that one a little bit. We couldn't figure it out.
We just had just bad mics and everything. It's whatever. We still got to fix that damn computer.
We're gonna figure that out because we got a show to do in November in Dallas. So we have to figure that out by then anyway. But we're back. We're having fun. We got a lot of shit to talk about. We got 2 weeks of college football to talk about. Plus this week coming up, Nebraska got a win. Okay, can we a good job? Our editor is happy. Nebraska is somehow tied for first in the Big Ten West. Think about that for a minute.
Who's out there? Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois.
Purdue.
Illinois is predicted to win the Big Ten.
They probably should.
Big Ten West, sorry, not Big Ten.
They should. They should. But Nebraska finally got a win. Aaron Judge hit number 62. I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, especially some of the bullshit that's being said by certain people's children. And we're going to talk about the Tua situation, and we've got some other fun stuff to talk about as well. But let's get right into it with just a very easy question. Dyer, Derek, how y'all doing today?
I'm fit. I knew it was gonna happen. I was literally just waiting for him. No, I'm good. It's been a busy week. 2 charity events, both golf. One of the coolest things though today, I can speak more on today, was getting to see DeMarcus Ware and Jason Hatcher. Those dudes make me look teeny tiny. They're huge. Made you look small. I talked to DeMarcus Ware. I told him I want to come and work out with him it's something that that would be a cool bucket list to say that, I worked out with some NFL guys, tried to keep up. I mean, I get to throw a football at some combine guys. So to be able to do like a workout like that with him would be pretty damn cool. He's a big dude, man. Strong as shit. Watching him swing a golf club is like, it literally looks like a monster holding on to a toothpick. Like, it's incredible. And he bombs the shit out of it, but not farther than me or Cole Hamels or Casey Donahue.
Did you put your legs into it?
Did I? I look like I don't even know the right term, but I have short, stumpy legs is what it looks like next to them.
Next to those guys?
I've got big legs, don't get me wrong, but they like I don't even know that I just look tiny.
Different breed of human being right there.
Oh shit, yeah. And we were talking about it too. Just imagine being tackled by this dude, and we were talking about like if we accidentally, because he was like, "Oh, you guys be careful, don't drive into us," whatever, because they were they were in front of us, and I was like, if we fucking hit this dude, we gotta like get the golf carts and go, because he will catch us, and I can only run so far, and I still think he's gonna catch me if I do that. So that was yeah, it was cool though. It was super dope hanging out with those guys, talking sports.
We got one big announcement to make before we dive into the meat and potatoes of today. Last year we did a really awesome show that you guys really liked, that we really liked, and Dyer made some really bad takes on. So we're gonna bring it back.
Awesome.
They were terrible takes. I don't want to fucking hear it. Your bag was voted worst bag by the people and by the editor. And that's
more candy for me.
Listen, you can take all your Almond Joys and you can just Golden Eagle chat. Almond Joy sucks.
I want to say this though. I've actually had people literally tell me I hate Almond Joys, and the person in your podcast is disgusting. I've heard that multiple times. Now, and when I say multiple, I'm talking like 3 to 4 at the most. But I've had people say it like, and that to me, first off, that was cool as shit to hear. Second, knowing that people hate your Almond Joys made my fucking day.
Well, he is going to have the opportunity to make some even more crazy statements, because boys and girls, men and women, people listening around the world, we are bringing back the fantasy draft, but this year we're going to America's favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. We're going to have a Thanksgiving fantasy draft in November. It is going to feature the same type of stuff that the fantasy Halloween candy draft did. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a cool format. We're going to try to get our editor on with us to be here, so he's not doing it after the fact, because we want everyone on this podcast. It is going to be, let me just tell you something. Dyer's already told us one of his opinions in the group chat, and it nearly started a fight in the group chat already.
I couldn't even keep up. You guys had like 80 text messages, and I literally took a shower. Whatever I was doing, I can't remember exactly.
This man already made a statement that has just bewildered us. So I can't wait to hear the rest of it. How it's going to work is it's going to be some point in November. It will be a little bit of a longer show just because it's a draft. We'll put it out there. We'll let you guys know what it's going to be. And we'll put the fantasy board out there so you guys can draft your own. The winner will be whoever's Thanksgiving plate you guys think is the best one at the end of the night. But yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it. Dyer, your opinions. I can't. I'm not even. I'm just.
The loser has to eat a spoonful of whatever the worst draft pick was.
Oh, See, here's the thing. That might work out in Dyer's favor, though.
Yeah, but you don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
like
he's
all the
going to
shit that nobody likes, apparently.
But you have to understand, this is the vote. This is coming from the people, not us. So you don't know which they might want to punish. Maybe they want to punish me. Maybe
I do have
they
to
want
ask,
punish
though.
Terps. You don't know who they want to punish. So it could be. We don't know which way they're going to go.
I do have to ask you, Dyer, do you feel like you're coming into this draft a little bit of a disadvantage with people knowing and already having seething hatred towards you for your candy draft picks?
Yeah, people are already disrespecting my palate out here. Let me tell you, I have a very well-developed palate.
No,
I
you
like
don't.
delicious things. I like things with depth of flavor. And guess what? There's a lot of Thanksgiving food that has no depth of flavor. It's bland and it sucks. And I'm going to talk about it during this draft. And I'm telling you right now that based on the conversation we had in the group chat the other day, this opinion is going to be as unpopular, if not more, than the Almond Joy argument.
I can already tell you right now, your taste buds are that of a 95-year-old old woman who takes her dentures out and eats butterscotch candy like it's going out of style. Get out of here with your terrible ass taste buds.
Disagree.
There is
Fantastic
talk.
taste buds.
There is talk of us potentially dressing up. I've already called dibs on the turkey hat. Derek, you've been volunteered for the pilgrim hat, by the way.
I'll get that. I don't care. So here's the thing, though. Who's gonna get offended? Not us.
By a pilgrim?
Yeah. Have you not seen some of the videos out there? People. Well, never mind. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We got too many people get butthurt over dumb shit.
I might go get pecan.
Wait, hold on.
pie.
You guys were talking. I do remember seeing that in the text too. Who calls it what? Because when you read it in text, I can't tell what it is. I call it pecan pie.
It depends on my state of sobriety.
Which is the thing. Is it pecan or pecan or pecan or pecan?
I've called it all
pecan.
of those things.
Because my mom makes this thing called pecan delight. Well, I actually just said pecan.
Yeah, it varies.
So
It varies
I don't
for
know.
me. Like
Pecan delight.
It's
Pecan,
delicious. It's delicious. Is what
Pecan
it is.
pie. I think it's how I say it. Like pecan pie and pecan delight. Two different things. I don't know.
Speaking of
I
competition,
think like it.
what? Dyer?
I was just
Go
going to say to think maybe that it's like it depends on the word that's in front of it, kind of like when you say the and the.
Yeah.
like
true.
caramel. Like
I only say caramel. I don't ever say caramel.
I say both.
I'm always
You also say
caramel.
both.
Both of them.
Both.
Those your skis. Both of them.
Both of my water,
Cool.
my bagel. Speaking of other competitions, I am currently firmly in last place in our fantasy league because my team is underperforming and my picks aren't saving, and I'm very upset about that.
I forgot
But-
my pick ones.
But I already changed them for this week, Dyer. So if it changes back again, I'm complaining to management, and that's you.
Like I'm going
But-
in there and just changing your shit.
Just changing your shit up. Just a reminder, Dyer, you want to tell the fine folks, tell the fine folks what our punishment is for the loser, aka Terps, at this point in time.
I forget what it's even called now. It's a variation of the Death Nut Challenge, isn't it? Like the Death Yard or something like that.
Holy
Something like
shit.
that.
What the hell's it called? Hold on, I have to look this up now because I forget what it's actually called. I'm struggling with technology today, guys.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Are you struggling with technology, or are you just struggling?
Maybe a little.
Anyway, it's a bunch of very spicy peanuts that I'm gonna have to eat. The loser's gonna have to eat on stream during the podcast. So I'm already preparing. So that's gonna be
I don't know if that's something you should be taking. I can't.
I'm doing it. It's all right. Well, I don't plan on losing, so but I'm already 0-4 or 0-3. 0-4. My other league, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great in that league. In this league, though,
Yeah, I gotta mess with. I gotta
Strange.
just pay attention to my Damn teams.
So let's stay on football real quick. We'll do college super quick. Then we're gonna jump into the Tua situation. Then we're gonna talk about Aaron Judge and baseball and the postseason. And yes, I know my Mets lost the division after up 10.5 games. I know. Thank you for telling me. I've heard it from everyone. I know. I'm sad too. Okay, but we're in the postseason for only the 10th time in franchise history, so I can't be too upset.
It just sucks. Like I'm sorry. Like going into the playoffs, they are no longer my pick to make it.
Did you see how good the Braves played in the second half?
That's where I'm saying they're hot.
Stupid.
They're red hot, and that's what's dangerous. In moments like this, that's dangerous. But let's talk football. We'll get to
talk football first. So let's start with Michigan because we got one game to talk about that pertained to both me and Derek. Neither one of us could watch it because we were walking around NASCAR at that point in time. But let me tell you, we were glued to our phones for Maryland versus Michigan. We were both fucking wrong. We were so wrong. We were just wrong about Maryland in general, apparently, because that was a very close game. I think Maryland had chances to win it multiple times. While it's really good for Maryland, I think this, and I'll let you speak on this too, Derek. After seeing Michigan's performance versus Iowa this past week, I think it's raised more concerns for Michigan than it has pluses for Maryland.
No, I would still say because it's a proven fact, as crazy as it is, Iowa's defense is good. Okay, we've known that going in. On top of that, the way that Iowa plays against ranked opponents in the top 5 is unbelievable. They've upset multiple teams. Ohio State was one of them in 2017. Penn State, Michigan State, Wisconsin. They've upset all of them. That is not an environment you want to play in if you are in the top 5, because those all happened within a 7-year frame. So that shows you how good, even though Iowa is trash, that shows you how hard it is to play there and how good their defense really is, because that's what kept them in the game. Their offense was a disaster. But also, it does show a lot about Maryland. That offense we've already talked about before the season even started. They were one of the top wide receiving crews behind Ohio State. Ohio State has the top receiving crew out there. Michigan has actually surprised a lot. I didn't expect as much, to be honest, out of the wide receiving core, but Ronnie Bell has done a really good job there. Obviously, he was there last year, but torn ACL. So Michigan's definitely, I feel like they've shown a lot, and I think this will be the bigger test playing against Indiana. We'll see how that goes, but the real test will come it's the following next 2 weeks. You got Penn State and then Michigan State, so gotta just continue to keep going with this momentum. But I think there's good things happening, and I think the other thing that's happened too was JJ McCarthy had to deal with some serious adversity on the getting picked and not having these easy blow up games where he can throw it up there and it's okay. He actually had to play against some good defenses, and Maryland was actually, I get it. It was
surprisingly good.
It was a great game. I mean, we didn't get to watch it, but from talking with my buddies, and my buddy that's up in Michigan too, they actually had it was a challenge because Maryland could keep up. They had, like I said, great offense, and their defense kept them into the game. Obviously, a few miscues hurt them, but some very poor referee decisions, not reviewing 2 interceptions, one of which clearly hit the ground. I'm not here to debate that because I didn't. I mean, to be honest, I never even saw it.
We didn't get to see the game. We didn't get to see the game.
So either way, I mean, it's still. And the thing is, what people don't get to, it's so funny. They're like, "Oh, you guys almost lost to Maryland." Maryland was also undefeated. Maryland's been playing really good ball. Like, they don't give credit. That's what I hate sometimes is people will not give credit where credit needs to be due. And Maryland's not a bad team.
It's really funny. I think people who don't know about Maryland.
Well, I want to say too, I honestly think we all predicted wrong on how many wins they're going to have this year.
We said 6. I'm thinking more 7 to 8 now.
Yeah.
Like,
solid.
They could legitimately be 7-1 going in against Ohio State.
Yeah. And that's great.
Or 8
for the Big Ten, by the way.
Yes.
Just want to throw that out there.
Ohio State, we're not even going to bother with y'all. Y'all had an easy week. easy 2 weeks. You played some really tough competition. Rutgers.
Wisconsin's decent.
Yeah, I don't know
Are they?
anymore. I don't think so this year. I agree
okay.
with what Dyer's saying, but I don't think so this year.
Let's talk about Wisconsin super quick before we get on to Nebraska and Tennessee, and then we're gonna do predictions. They have fired their head coach Paul Chryst. They have gone down the Nebraska route of firing successful coaches. Just a few stats for you guys here about this. Paul Chryst finished 67-26 and was 6-1 in bowl games with 4 10+ win seasons as the head coach of Wisconsin. Is this a premature firing? I say yes. What think you?
I agree. I think it's definitely too quick. But I mean, the way that they started though doesn't help.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that it's a premature firing. I mean, when you look and compare him to other coaches in the conference, he's done just as well as some high-profile coaches, other than maybe not making the playoff. But
There's only been like 8 coaches who made the playoffs.
It's interesting to me. I really feel like Wisconsin's having a down year, and everybody knows that. The quarterback play is not good. I don't know why they're really sticking with this guy and why they're struggling to recruit anybody that's any better. But still, good running attack. They were able to throw up 21 points on a fantastic opponent on the road. So, it's one of those things that it's kind of a knee-jerk overreaction. I don't unless maybe they're looking at the guys that they have now and saying that recruiting has fallen off and that they're just not set up for the next couple of years. Maybe there's more to it than that, and that's certainly something that you could look at. I don't know their roster very well, but maybe that's what their athletic department's looking and saying, hey, not only is he not getting it done on the field now recently, but also we see the guys that we have and we have no confidence that it's going to change anytime soon. Let's bring somebody in who's going to be able to turn that ship around, at least give him a couple of years to bring his own guys in and see where it goes from there.
Well, the crazy thing is there's now multiple what some would consider almost destination jobs open. Nebraska is open. Arizona State is open. Now Wisconsin is open. Now Georgia Tech, I wouldn't call them destination, but definitely a good fan base down there.
Word on the street is they're going to go get Deion Sanders.
Who, Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
That would work for them. I don't think Deion Sanders would work for
he's gonna
a
work
Big Ten school.
I do. I think wherever he goes, he'll work.
Maybe. I don't know.
He's got guys going to Jackson State over big schools.
Yeah.
Come on. He's doing something.
True. But it'll be interesting to see where these coaches end up now, because there are 3 major openings.
Yeah.
Right now, Arizona State and Nebraska. Everyone's all coming from a mile away. I don't think anyone saw Wisconsin having an opening this year. So, some big names out there that are big. They're going to be throwing their hats in the ring. Wow, English hard today.
It happens.
It does happen. Nebraska won their first game against Indiana. Congratulations, Nebraska, 35-21. After losing their bye week. So
that's surprising too with Indiana.
So good for Nebraska. They are 2-3, 1-1 in the conference right now. Maryland loses a very close one to Michigan, 34-27, turns around and beats Michigan State at home 27-13. They host Purdue at home in a battle of 2 under the radar teams, really. Tennessee.
Well, first, I do want to say this too, real quick about Maryland.
Yep.
They're only 1-1 in the conference. They're still right there. You know that, right? So
it would take
Michigan could lose. Let's say this does happen. Michigan could lose to, we'll say, Ohio State. Ohio State could lose to Maryland. It could be a sleep pick right there, and then you guys are now.
But Michigan would take the win.
Well, I know Michigan would be. Well,
Michigan would go ahead because of the tiebreaker. Michigan would have to lose 2.
I guess they do need to lose 2. Both teams.
They need to lose 2.
Yeah, you're in a tough one. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
It could work. You could see Penn State and Ohio State being losses for Michigan. That's a possibility. But then you're also maintaining that Maryland does not lose again the rest of the season. It's a hard. I think if Maryland gets to 7, 8, or 9 wins this year, huge before a bowl game.
Oh my
huge.
God, that's
ginormous. Ginormous. Tennessee had a bye week last week. The week before that, they went to Auburn and they won 21 or No,
they went to
Florida and won,
Yeah.
38-33. They have got a big one coming. So let's start with Tennessee, and we'll go backwards. So Tennessee on the road this week, going to LSU. LSU 4-1, 2-0 in the conference. Tennessee number 8, 4-0, 1-0 in the conference. LSU is the favorite right now.
As they should be.
Tennessee, however, has Vegas's back, -3 to Tennessee. So basically giving Tennessee a touchdown, essentially, or 6 points, because it's 3 points plus 3. So tight pick'em game here. Over under 65. You two, what do you guys think?
I'm going to go ahead and start this real quick because I think Tennessee's legit. I think they're the real deal. Hooker is fucking unbelievable. This dude might be winning. He might win the Heisman.
Yeah.
I wish Chop was here to hear all this stuff, but I honestly, I think their toughest game is going to be Georgia. I see them beating not only LSU, but the following week they beat Alabama. That is the upset.
Really?
Yes, I'm going to call that now. Hooker is just the main thing is that they're going to ride heavy on him because not only can he throw the shit out of this ball, he can run it too. He is a modern day Lamar Jackson. He can't run as fast as him, but he can still make the plays. He's a threat. If you go after him, he's going to scramble. It leaves somebody open. He's going to hit him. I mean, he is a very good quarterback right now. I really like this guy. I really do. I wish Choppy was here to talk about this. LSU they're going to lose by at least, I'm going to say 10-14, just because SEC games are always that way. But they're going to beat them in LSU, and they're going to beat Alabama.
This is a noon game, which is, if this game was at night, oh boy.
Then it would be really rowdy.
Yeah, it's going to be rowdy anyway.
True.
This is a huge test for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And a huge test for their coach.
This is where you're going to really see what they're made of.
Oh yeah. So you're taking Tennessee and the points?
Yep.
Dyer, how about you?
Yeah, man, Tennessee looking like one of the highest powered offense in college football right now. If this all continues, maybe not some of the greatest competition that they've played. Obviously, Akron, you can't really say a whole lot for them, or Ball, but they've also got Pittsburgh out there and Florida, and can't say that those are slouches. You put up 38 points on one and 34 on the other. I think the big question is going to be their defense. They've given up quite a few points too. So if they can tie that up a little bit, I don't think that LSU is going to be able to do a whole lot. They're gonna put some points up. I'm not saying it's going to be a shutout or anything like that, but I'm comfortable enough with Tennessee and how much they're going to score to take the points and the win there.
I do want to say this too. Do you guys remember the Texas Tech Oklahoma game where Pat Mahomes took on Baker?
Yes.
It was a high scoring shootout. They both threw for like 400 or 500 yards. That's what this.
You have two good quarterbacks.
Not this game. Sorry, I looked far ahead.
Daniels is good though.
He is. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think you're really going to see that game against Alabama. It's going to be a shootout.
Here's the one thing. I don't want to get too far with the Alabama, but I do want to throw one thing out there that is just Nick Saban.
You're right.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, he has been able to take explosive teams coming in there and just somehow, some way win by 3.
Yep.
Win by 7. I don't know how he does it. The dude's a magician. I'm going to agree with both you guys, though. I like Tennessee plus the points. -3 is just that's too easy. That's too easy right there. I don't think it's going to be a field goal game.
Tennessee's way too good.
Yeah. Nebraska goes to Rutgers on my birthday this Friday at 7 p.m. It's going to be rowdy. It will be rowdy in Piscataway, New Jersey. It is a blackout, sold out game already at Rutgers. Rutgers shows up for football games. It's New Jersey, got nothing else to do. Student section will be rowdy. It's a Friday Night Lights game on FS1. Nebraska looking to win another conference game. Rutgers looking to win their first conference game in like 4 years. No joke. What do you guys think about this one?
This is
Nebraska's a 3-point favorite, 49 over under.
This is a tough take. sorry to our producer here, our editor, Mr. Gnome. He's going to be on suicide watch. Nebraska's not going to pull this off. I hate to say this. The reason I say it is because Rutgers know and they can feel that they are down. They're going to kick them while they're down.
Might be the only win they get this year. Rutgers' schedule's brutal.
Well, I mean, they're 3-2
going to take advantage
already.
of it.
Oh, you mean in the Big Ten?
In the Big Ten, yeah.
Okay, yeah. This could be it. I mean, I don't like saying that because it shouldn't be that way. This should be a cakework for Nebraska. But just how they've played, and I just feel they're not there. I know obviously losing your coach and stuff would motivate you, but I don't see this going very well for Nebraska. I just got an ad to pop up. That sucks. Yeah, I just don't feel confident enough in Nebraska. Rutgers are going to win this. It will be close, though. I feel like it will be close. I wouldn't touch the over or the under. I wouldn't mess with that bet. That's just me. But sorry to say it, no. Rutgers win.
Rutgers' schedule going after this is Nebraska, Indiana. Then this is where it gets really not fun for them. At Minnesota versus Michigan, at Michigan State versus Penn State, at Maryland. That's how they end the season. That just doesn't sound fun. Dyer, your take on the game?
I disagree with Derek. I think when we look back at what Nebraska's done so far this year, they struggled obviously with stopping people, but they've also been able to put up some points. 35 against Indiana. You can take Oklahoma out of that, forget that game. They only threw 14 up on that one, but 42 against Georgia Southern. Again, not great competition there. They lose that game, but it wasn't because they didn't score. It was because they couldn't stop Georgia Southern. Against North Dakota, they put up 38, and they put up 28 against Northwestern in a poorly coached game that they should have won. I like Northwestern in this one. It's a tough game on the road with that night game and that atmosphere that it's going to be, but I think Nebraska's got a good enough thing going with the win that they had last week. Try and build on that a little bit against an opponent that they should beat, I think. I like Nebraska here. Would you say they were getting or giving 3?
They're getting 3.
They're getting 3. They're
a touchdown favorite essentially.
Yeah, give me the points. I take Nebraska on that one.
Here's my take. You ready for this one? Sloppy fucking game of football coming our way. It is going to be a sloppy game. No, because both teams are turnover prone.
I know.
But it might be raining. It's always raining here. This is tough for me. Rutgers is going to get up for this game. This is going to be a big one for them. Night game, probably one of the only night games they have this year at home. Friday night game. The students are going to get up. The students are going to be drunk. The fans are going to be drunk. It's going to be loud. Their Black Ops uniforms are sick, by the way. That said, how much does Nebraska care? Meaning that, do they see this as just Rutgers? Or do they see that themselves that, hey, this is going to be a dogfight? This is so tough for me. I kind of agree with Dyer. I think Nebraska is going to find a way to win this game, although I think it's going to be more because Rutgers loses it.
That's actually a good take.
I think Nebraska's a team that's got something to prove now. With everything that's happened, these players are going to want to go out there and say, look, we weren't the fucking problem this whole time, all right? We had a guy that was out here that was a hack. He didn't give a shit about what was going on, and we weren't put in the right positions to win.
I agree with that. I mean, there's not a single soul on that Nebraska team that wants to lose. I can promise you that. I just think they've been put behind the 8 ball because of what happened with the situations there at Nebraska. They're definitely putting in a bad position. But I think they're both going to come out. They're both going to come out hot. They're going to be hungry for the win. I hate to say it, but the Rutgers is going to be the better team that day.
I just see this game coming down to the fourth quarter. I see Nebraska up 3, maybe up 6, and I see Rutgers driving, and there's going to be a turnover.
We need to do that. That's what we need to do. We need to write down all the picks with our names of each game and see who has the better record.
Okay. We'll go back through this after this.
Yeah, we'll do it after. We'll
do it after.
When we close out, we'll bring it up.
But I really think, give me Nebraska here. I think I don't want to touch the -3. I'm kind of with Derek. I don't fucking know, but I feel like Nebraska doesn't win this game. I feel like Rutgers loses this game. That's my take on that game.
There's no wrong take. That's why it's going to be interesting to see who gets the most, who has the best record.
Let's go to Maryland. We'll go to Maryland, and then we'll go to the other two schools. Maryland hosting Purdue at home. Maryland at a -3. So it's basically a pick'em game. With an over on 58.5. Maryland hosting Purdue. This game is getting close to being a sellout already. Maryland fans are showing back up again. This is a BTN game. Very good chance Maryland wins this game. They find themselves either in the top 25 or just outside the top 25. Maryland's schedule is very, very, very nice after this game. They get at Indiana versus Northwestern, at Wisconsin. 3 schools that are struggling right now, so this could start off a good one for them. Purdue has not been a bad team either this year. There were a few games they probably should have won. They had Penn State beat, and then there was a turnover there. They had Syracuse beat, and they ended up losing that game as well. And then of course they beat Minnesota 20-10. Good football team, very good football team. I think it's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to end up being a shootout game. Both teams give up a ton of yardage. That said, give me Maryland plus the points. I think -3 is too close for a Taulia Tagovailoa offense. If Maryland wins this game, they're going to win by 7 or more.
Did you, before I give my comment, did you pick Nebraska or the Rutgers? I forget, because I'm actually filling this out right now.
Nebraska. I picked Nebraska to win.
Okay, you're good. Dyer, go ahead and give your pick.
This is one of those put up or shut up games for Maryland. We're kind of trying to still figure out what Maryland really is. They come out and they look very good against Michigan, lose a tough game. But I kind of have a feeling that this one's going to go against Maryland kind of for the same reason, Terps, that you mentioned, that Rutgers is going to drop to Nebraska. I think Maryland's kind of prone, at least in the past, to shooting themselves in the foot
100%
in bad situations, and I unfortunately think that's probably going to be the case here. Now, I could see it going the other way. When we look from a talent perspective at the rosters, I think Maryland has the edge. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to be able to keep the game tight as far as their play, or if they're going to continue to do things and make the big mistake when you can't have it. Right now, I'm not especially confident in them until they prove otherwise. I'm going to have to go with Purdue.
They did show good promise against Michigan. They only had 1 penalty against them against Michigan State. I think they only had 2 or 3. So they've buttoned that up for sure. But yeah, Maryland does definitely have a history of shooting themselves in the foot. I will agree with that 100%.
For me, this is crazy. This is going to be a great game. I know that's not something you Terps want to hear as a Maryland fan.
I think it's going to be a great game.
But I think this will be a shootout. Purdue does such a great job of spreading the ball. Their quarterback, they're always going to have a pretty good quarterback that can throw it. I mean, Drew Brees came from there as a big name. But they are such a good offensive team. I just don't think their defense is going to hold up against Maryland. Maryland's going to win this one. I actually got Maryland winning by 10 on this, just because Maryland's offense will not be stopped by Purdue's defense. There's no way they can contain them. To be honest, it could get ugly, but Purdue is going to constantly answer back. That's the thing, because they constantly run a spread offense. That's just the way that they move the ball. And that's the only reason that I could see Purdue kind of hanging in there. I see this being, like I said, at least a 10-point win for Maryland. Maryland's going to win this one.
It's going to be a drinking game for me.
But I just want to throw that out there. That's 3 Marylands, correct?
2 Marylands, and then Dyer took Purdue.
Oh, Dyer took Purdue?
Dyer took Purdue.
Dyer took Purdue.
Purdue in a close one.
All right, got that in there.
Let's move on. I'm going to sneeze. Nope. Let's move on to a little bit of a trap game, in my opinion. Ohio State, ABC, 4 p.m. Eastern. What the fuck is that kickoff time? Goes to Michigan State. Michigan State is in a free fall, started ranked 15th, has since fallen out of the rankings and down considerably. after losing to Washington, Minnesota, and Maryland in back-to-back weeks. Ohio State, of course, has been on a roll. When I say trap game, I'm going to be very clear here. I'm taking Ohio State. Ohio State's going to win this game. I, however, think that Michigan State is not ready to give up on the season yet. I think that they're looking for, I think that Mel Tucker is going to have this team ready to play. They're going to be looking for a statement win, a statement victory. Or I don't think they're going to get that victory, but I think this game could be closer than it is. The spread's 27 points, 27 to Ohio State with an over-under 20 of 65. This is a tough one for me, but I'll just start it off, and I'm going to say give me Ohio State, but I'm having a tough time with the spread. With Ohio State, they could very easily blow the spread out of the water, or it could be like a 3-score game. So let's gamble here. Let's take Ohio State, but no, we're not going to take the points on this one.
Well, for me, because this is obviously Dyer's game, so for me, I'm going to be honest. This is not going to be a close game whatsoever. Ohio State's way too powerful for Michigan State after seeing how poorly they've been performing. I don't see this getting anywhere close. Maybe the first quarter at the most. Other than that, Ohio State's just going to run away with this. Stroud is too good of a quarterback right now. I mean, fuck, he's throwing 92. He's 92 for 134 with 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's doing some great things. We talked about receiving core. Maryland has a strong one. This is where the best one is in the Big Ten. Trust me, I get it. I love Michigan. I fucking hate Ohio State. But I'm telling you right now, that receiving core, they do this in and out every year. They always have strong receivers. They always have a strong team to begin with. But this game is, as much as, we talk about this could be a statement game, I don't see it being much of a statement game because Michigan State is not what Michigan State was last year. Ohio State runs away with this big.
So you're taking Ohio State and the points?
Ohio State points and over. They will cover. Because as you were saying, like, this is like a statement. Ohio State's going to make the statement. That's a fact. They are going to put up the numbers. I think you're going to see a lot of some newer faces from Ohio State come into this game late. Give those guys. That's how big of a lead and comfortable I feel about Ohio State over Michigan State right now. The battle. Oh, by the way, this is the battle for Illy Buck. By the way, or no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This isn't Illy Buck.
Peyton Thorne, the quarterback for MSU. What concerns me, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So I'll throw those out there as a little prop bet. Over under 1.5 turnovers for Michigan State.
Over. I would hammer that over.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking he throws 2.
Dyer, the floor is yours. Fuck Ohio State.
Hey, listen, Ohio State is the most dynamic offense in the country, and it's not close. Okay, CJ Stroud has not had to carry the load that everybody thought that he was going to have to carry this year. I think it was the Wisconsin game, less than 300 yards passing, still had 5 touchdowns in that one. But I think the bigger piece to look at is what the rushing attack has been able to do. The best 1-2 punch in the country, and it's not even close, Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams. Just incredible. Both of these guys are capable of going over 100 yards in any game. Some games they've both gone over 100 yards together. Anyway, this offense is too good simply for Michigan State to stick with. Even if they put some points up again, that Ohio State run defense is starting to look a little bit suspect again, which is worrisome. They gave up a ton of rushing yards to Wisconsin, but simply put, there are very few teams in the country that can score with Ohio State. If you shut down one of the best wide receiving cores in the country, you still got to stop the rushing attack or vice versa. Very few teams are capable of stopping both. Ohio State's going to take this one. I like the over just because the defense has shown that tendency to be a little bit soft, but I think Ohio State's going to put up enough points to cover that spread.
Little shootout up at Spartan Stadium. Last but certainly not least, we go to Michigan, traveling to the Indiana Hoosiers, 12 p.m. Another big noon kickoff for them on Fox. Michigan, a 91% chance of winning this game, 22.5 point spread, 59 over under Indiana. Here's the tough part about me for this game here. Indiana does this thing where they just give random teams fits for no fucking reason. Them and Purdue, for no reason. They always give someone fits every year. Every year they do this shit. Every single year. Indiana does not have a defense. Their defense might be worse than Maryland's defense. Well, Maryland's defense start of the year at least. They do not. If you took Indiana's offense and Iowa's defense, you'd have a top 10 team. But that said, 22.5 point spread for them, 59 over under. Michigan's going to win this game. Again, the question for me is, do they cover the spread? 22.5. Michigan has not done overly well at covering in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're 3-2 when it comes to that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take it from here. Oh, never mind. Dyer,
Yeah.
go ahead. Dyer, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got respect for Michigan. I think that as much shit as I talk, I really do have respect for Michigan after the year that they had last year. I think they're going to have a very good year this year. Whether it's going to be just as good or not, we'll find out in the final game of the regular season. But look, you know, they struggled against Maryland, and that's okay. Maryland's not a bad team. I think that Michigan's really going to want to bounce back right now and make a statement. This is a statement game for them. You know, they don't like to look weak, and I think that this is going to be one where they're going to put it on Indiana. Look for this one to be a big win. Indiana maybe scores 10 points, something like that. But I like Michigan to cover, and I like the over in this one as well because they're not gonna take the foot off the gas pedal.
Well said. Well said. I appreciate that, Dyer. I actually am with him on this too. We have the best running back in the Big Ten, hands down, with Blake Corum. He's going to have
He won that game for you against Maryland, by the way.
True, and that's what I'm saying.
He won that fuck. He's insane.
He's going to do the same thing against Indiana. They're not going to be able to stop him. The thing I want to see more of, obviously, we've got a good running back. We do need another one, though. We need to make sure he's doing as well. Like Dyer does, he's right. Ohio State does have the best 1-2 punch when it comes to running backs. We just have a one punch. So we need to step that up. We need to see another running back step in. I also want to see more out of J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, Stroud is the best quarterback right now in the Big Ten. I can't even say his last name, Tagovailoa, whatever. The Maryland quarterback.
Tagovailoa?
Yes. He's obviously, I think, better than JJ as well. I just want to see more from JJ. I was glad to see him deal with some adversity in the past 2 games, so that was good. But I think this one, he's going to take a big stride forward. This should be a good day from them. I do see this being a blowout. I am taking the over. I am taking the points. Michigan will cover both. This will improve their record to 4-2 when it comes to the spread. I don't know their record though with the over and under stuff. But I will say 4-2 is the spread killer. But yeah, big day for Michigan. I think we're going to see some stuff that we haven't got to quite see before. Indiana's they're just not Indiana anymore right now.
Of course, Michigan gets a nice little break up in their schedule. Indiana, then they get the big game versus Penn State. Then they get Michigan State at home, at Rutgers versus Nebraska versus Illinois, at Ohio State. So pretty little cushy schedule for you there, Derek.
It could be. I mean, again, it all depends how well Michigan State shows up against Ohio State. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. It's not as big as Ohio State, but it's still a big game, so it does get intense. Rutgers,
Penn State's
yes.
always going to be a dogfight too.
Penn State's definitely going to be. That's the big test. That's where I'm actually going to see and be able to believe where we are. Obviously, because Ohio State's the true test, but it's so far ahead. I can't look at that and worry about that. Rutgers should be cakework. Nebraska should be too, and so should Illinois. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's down the road. But I also want to add, we have to have one game of the week. I think everybody agreed on Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, we did Tennessee already.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm saying we all did agree, so I have that marked.
Yeah.
If you have the schedule up that you can see, I'm trying to pull it here to see who the game of the week will be. I don't. It could be TCU and Kansas.
There's not a bunch of it's kind of a down week.
Well, I feel like the game of the week would be Tennessee LSU. I feel like that's
definitely the game of the week.
where game day is going to be. But I just
game day is at Kansas.
It's at Kansas. See, I can't even pull up like top 25.
Jayhawk.
So we'll do that. Let's go with that one. What's your picks for that game? TCU versus Kansas. Sorry,
there we go.
No, I looked and I can't believe Arkansas is not ranked anymore. They're actually pretty good, but
6.5 points to TCU, 68 over under. So we are not talking about a classic Big 12 game here, which means no fucking defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to give you guys a little rundown here real quick, both teams are right there. Points per game, 48.5 for TCU, 41 points for Kansas, 22 and 24 points allowed respectively, and 368 yards and 384 yards allowed respectively. So again, no fucking defense for that team, either team. Listen,
first time Kansas has been 5-0 since I don't know, 1985.
As much as I want to say Rock Chalk Jayhawk baby, nah, TCU's gonna come in there and whoop their ass. I just don't listen. Kansas is good. They got a good quarterback. I don't know if I can trust them. I just don't. TCU is gonna move the ball. They move the ball fast. They a lot of points per game from both teams though. But the big thing for me is TCU averages almost 130 more yards per game, with an extra 100 yards per game coming through the air. They're just too balanced. Another 40 yards better. They're just too balanced. Give me TCU. They're gonna cover the 6.5 point spread. Over under 68.5. I mean, I don't know, but give me TCU and the points there.
Dyer, you want this one?
Hey, baby, Kansas is a good Big 12 team. The only difference is TCU is a good team, period. I think that it's going to be a situation just like you said. They're gonna score a couple points, but and by a couple in the Big 12, that's probably like 21. But TCU is going to just absolutely demolish. Kansas won't even come close to stopping them once. It's just going to be touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. A good drive on defense for Kansas means a field goal, and they're probably only going to get one of those. I look at huge points for TCU on this one, and definitely taking the over.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I love the basketball from both of you, but I actually want to ride this train. And I'm going to go.
You going to Rock Chalk, baby?
With Kansas. The reason that I want to pick Kansas is because TCU has more to lose and Kansas has everything to gain with no worries at all. They lose this game, doesn't matter. They've already accomplished so much already. So they will be lit. I feel like looking through their games, when they played against West Virginia, it just feels like they matched them point for point. Same thing against Houston, point for point. They stayed with them. Duke, point for point. Iowa State, who's been fairly good in the past few years, several years actually, they beat them 14-11. I feel confident that Kansas is going to be right there with TCU, and they are going to win, and it's going to be by 3.
I'm just saying. TCU went in and dropped a 55 bomb on Oklahoma. They dropped 42 on SMU. I'm just saying.
I'm right there with you.
Dyer, correct me
in the water
if I'm
in
wrong.
Kansas.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Kansas ain't played nobody yet.
Nope.
Okay, here's a good. This is good. Fun fact: Kansas University head coach Lance Leipold is the fastest NCAA coach to 100 wins.
He's getting another job.
He's doing something.
He's going to Wisconsin.
Hey, we'll see.
He's going to go to Wisconsin or Nebraska.
The only thing about that is, though, if you got something going good, why would you want to leave it, though? You're putting them on the map. I know that, but you're putting them on the map. You can get that money from that school.
Can they?
Yeah.
Do they got deeper pockets in Nebraska, football-wise?
All those boosters?
Same thing for Nebraska.
I know.
Nebraska boosters paid for Scott Frost's buyout.
Correct. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Anybody can do it, but that's my pick. Kansas. Go Jayhawks.
It's easier to bring Nebraska back to glory than it is to get people to buy into coming to Kansas and making it something.
Unless you're basketball.
Unless you're basketball. They're already something.
They've been something. God, this is going to be a shoot. Why are these games all at noon, though?
Hold on.
All these good games are at noon this year.
Is this week 6 in college?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, it has to be. Okay. No, I'm just trying to make sure I write this down because I'm trying to keep track
Or is
of
it
our.
week 5? It might be week 5.
No, because they're 5-0.
Oh, you're right.
So it's got to be 6. Yeah. All right. I have
Cool.
that, and I'll have NFL picks for us too. So now that we all have our teams.
Let's go on to the NFL. We got to do this. We got to move a little quickly here. We spent a little too much time on college, but that's okay. We like college football
Well,
here.
this will be quick because it's not too much.
We'll do the picks super quick, and then we got to talk about Tua because
Mhm.
there's some shit to talk about there. We might as well start with the elephant in the room. I'm wearing a Cowboys jersey. Why? Because I'm a Cowboys fan. Deal with it. Deal with it. That said, Cowboys went in against the Giants and they won that game. They played the Commanders and they won that game. What are they rewarded with? They get to play the Rams. I don't know what the fuck happened to the Rams though. They are not the Rams of last year. Jamie is not going to like me to hear me say this. Their defense is not there, with the exception of one very insane human being. The offense is struggling over there as well. I am greatly encouraged by the fact that with backup quarterback, they're able to go into New York and win that game. And I am, Cowboys were, and they beat the Commanders, whatever. It's the Redskins. I don't really give a shit about that game. But Cowboys at the Rams. What's the spread? I had this up. I just lost it.
Oh, I just had it too.
Yeah, I just had it. I lost it. I mean, it's an NFL game, so they're all going to be close. So the Rams are runaway favorites right now. 74% chance of winning, according to ESPN's FPI. 5.5 point favorites are the LA Rams. After watching the Rams play, yes, the 49ers are ridiculous. Team's ridiculous. That team's dumb. That team's probably going to win the Super Bowl. Big road test. Cowboys have done well on the road so far this year. But can they pull the upset in LA? I don't know if I trust Matt Stafford. 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this year. I don't know if I trust it. I gotta say, and it's not even gotta say it. It's what my gut's telling me. Give me the Cowboys. They're gonna upset City here.
I'm with you on this one, Turks.
I don't trust Stafford at all.
I'm with you. Rams do not, like you said before, do not look like what they were last year. So I'm 100% on that with you. I don't believe them being as good as they should be, at least. Also, I just feel Cooper Rush is on something right now.
He's playing for a job.
He 100% he is. This is for next year more than anything. I just feel that Cooper's going to have himself another good game. I also think that Pollard is going to have a good game. He's your number one now. Zeke is definitely not. I hate saying it, but it's slowly. I've said this before when I talked on the radio with the fan. They're transitioning. They are transitioning to Pollard being the number one, and Zeke is going to fall back in there. I think you're also going to see more out of CeeDee Lamb. He's done an outstanding job. Cowboys defense will run away with this. I think you're going to see a possible
There's no O-line.
The thing is,
The Rams have 0 O-line right now.
that's what I'm saying. But that's why the Cowboys and the 49ers are the only two defenses that have not allowed more than 20 points. That says a lot about the Cowboys defense. They have a fucking good defense. So I see them absolutely demolishing the Rams. You better take Cowboys. They're going to cover the spread. And I don't like to do this too much with the NFL, but I would say take the over.
I'm seeing Mr. Stafford throwing another interception.
Multiple.
I
see it too.
Our secondary is too good right now.
If the
He's gonna throw
interceptions,
another interception.
if the interceptions was the bar was set at 2, I would still take the over.
Really? You think he's throwing 3?
Yes. I'm telling you, the Cowboys defense is good. Trust me, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I mean, I am a fan, but I'm not like diehard. But I believe that this defense is really good, and they're going to show that. And Cooper Rush is going to continue to stay undefeated.
Either that or Stafford's going to be on his back all game.
He's definitely going to be on his back. Michael Parsons is going to have 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Dyer, your take.
And I really want to say that the Rams are going to bounce back in this one, but I don't have any confidence in them. That offensive line is struggling too much. They're struggling to run the ball. They rely on Cooper Kupp far too much. He's the only person between him and every once in a while Tyler Higbee. Stafford just relies on him every time he's in a pinch. The Dallas Cowboys defense is too good for the, to fall for that and to have the issues. Kupp's going to get his catches, but it's going to be limited to short little dinks and dunks, yards after the catch is where all that comes from. I do want to caution Cowboys fans about Cooper Rush. As a Cleveland Browns fan, I have seen many a backup quarterback come in for a few games and set the world on fire. And then guess what happens? Everybody's got some tape on them. And then they find their tendencies and figure out what it is that they're doing that they can be exploited. And then it's on that backup quarterback to figure out, and the coaches, how to adjust to that. He's a backup for a reason, folks. I hate to tell you, he's not the quarterback of the future. He's not the quarterback of this year. He's a placeholder. Dak is going to be the guy as soon as he comes back. End of story. That said, I think Cowboys do enough to win this game. I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game again. Maybe, I don't know, give it 21-10 or 24-10, something like that. I don't think the Cowboys are putting up much more than that, though.
Really quick, Dyer, what happens when Dak comes back and he is not successful? And by the way, I do want to throw this out there. You talked about the video, too, real quick, on Cooper. He is 5-0 right now.
Fine.
Just throwing that there. This is a Teddy Bridgewater situation again from the New Orleans Saints, waiting for Drew Brees to come back. Just throwing that out there. So what do you do in that situation?
What happened to Teddy?
Teddy got replaced and Drew Brees came back.
Exactly. Teddy's backing up for another team now.
No, he's starting.
Because somebody got hurt.
Well, he's starting, ain't he?
Because somebody got hurt. Same reason why Rush is starting. Rush isn't that guy, okay? If
I know.
You watch him play, he's fine. He's fine. He's not bad.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is he going to get a starting job somewhere else if he continues what's going on right now?
Will he get a starting job? Yes. Will he hold that job? No.
Okay. That's a good take.
He's Nick Foles. That's okay.
That's exactly what I said before you came on.
Yes.
I said he is the new Nick Foles right now.
Sure. Nick Foles is great coming off the bench. He's not a starter.
He was great enough to get a Super Bowl.
He was. He absolutely was. But then what happened after that when he got a real shot as a starter? He fizzled out. I mean, yes, granted for a bad team, but how come, if it was only the players around him, why isn't he starting somewhere else after that?
You're right. I'm not arguing. I was just wanting to hear it.
Let's go to the other game we're going to talk about quickly today. The LA Chargers travel to the Cleveland Browns 1:00 game on CBS. Toss-up game here. LA predicted to win it by 50.3% with the possibility of a tie at 0.6%. 2.5 points to the Chargers. Over under are 47.5. This is a pick'em game if there's a pick'em game right now.
Yeah, I personally, I wanted to get out in front of Dyer on this one just real quick. The big thing is the Chargers are hurt. They did lose Bosa for a few games, so I think that plays into the advantage for the Browns. That's why I'm taking the Browns. I think we're also going to see more out of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt with this.
Herbert still playing hurt?
Because
I'm pretty sure he crack a rib?
Yeah, he did. And that's where I was going to lead with that is Herbert's not Herbert right now. I mean, he's still throwing for a shit ton of yards. Do not get me wrong. But I think a couple big hits, and also you're going to see a little more motivation. I feel, this is me personally, but this is also why I'm really bad at betting with my heart on this one, because I'm always just going to get hurt. But Myles Garrett being back is going to motivate those guys even more after what he went through with the car accident, and to be out there on the field with those guys, there's going to be more energy, more pressure on Herbert. It's a hard thing to do. I'm not sure if Clowney is back yet, but I will say the Browns will pull this off. I'm not going to mess with this over under. Obviously, they're going to cover the spread because if they win, they're the ones that were getting points. So I feel really good about this. I think the other thing too is Bridgewater. God dang it. Brissett has improved each time out. Now, granted, the last week I remember talking with Dyer and our buddy Jape. We were pumped because we were going to get the game-winning drive, and yes, he did make the bad throw to end the game on an interception. But me personally, I feel like he's taken some great strides for this team. His pocket presence has been much better. He's been a good fill-in. We personally should be 3-1 right now, but you know what? That's just the way it is. We're okay with it. We're still 500. We're still in first place in the division. I think they pull this one off just because of the injuries that the Chargers are facing.
Yeah, I got to say, when we were talking after that game last week, and I said that if the Browns don't figure out their defense, that this could be one of the biggest blowouts that they've had in a long time. At full strength for the Chargers, this team, I feel like I think that makes a lot of sense. However, with the injuries that they have, that bodes well for Cleveland. Especially with getting Myles Garrett back, get a couple of hits on Herbert with that kind of an injury. He's really going to struggle to play at a high level. Even if he doesn't get knocked out of the game, the pain that he's going to be in is going to be enough to reduce his level of play. If nothing else, also kind of starting to hear those footsteps, especially if they can get Clowney back too. That's an even more of an added bonus. I have such a hard time with the defense and the struggles that they've had. We talked about before with the issues that they had in the secondary and guys blowing coverage. A different kind of issue that they had last week was just the running straight up the middle, and Cleveland couldn't figure out how to stop it. Personnel thing, you say, they were missing 3 starters from the offensive, or rather the defensive line, and that's a contributor to that. Probably is, but only one of those guys was a defensive tackle. You're missing Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. You're not getting a ton of run support with Garrett, so I don't use that as an excuse. Jadeveon Clowney is a pretty good run defender, but more valuable on those outside runs. He's not helping you up the middle. So really just that one defensive tackle, I don't think that he makes that big of a difference to where, you're giving up that kind of you're having that kind of issues stopping a 6th-round pick and a guy that the Falcons signed off the practice squad that Tuesday. That's a huge problem. They got to get that fixed. They got to get the coverage fixed. It continues to be an issue, but
is Clowney healthy?
He's not. He missed last week. I haven't seen.
He's still questionable as of now.
Yeah, he's probably going to be questionable going into the game.
Yeah.
What was it, like an ankle or something like that? He's always got something wrong, But at the end of the day, I'm optimistic, only because of the injuries that the Chargers have and that they're dealing with. Another thing too, Jacoby Brissett was very dependent on Amari Cooper. The Falcons took Cooper away, and the passing game struggled because of it. So he's going to have to figure out how to spread the ball over the field again instead of just locking onto Cooper and feeding him the ball every other play.
Don't forget about Peoples-Jones too. I think he took some big strides so far this year. He's been a pretty reliable source out there too, helping out with Cooper.
Absolutely. Well, that's another thing that, happened. And hey, everybody can have an off game too. Brissett did not look very good throwing the ball last week. He was missing wide open guys. So typically a pretty accurate passer, not a guy that's going to set the world on fire. He's like Cooper Rush light, good backup, not really the guy that's going to be your starter for an extended period of time, but good when you need him. But yeah, give me the Browns. I'll take it. I'll be optimistic. Give me the Browns for the win.
Injuries is the name of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries is the name of this game. I think the question at the end of the day is, can you guys stop Justin Herbert? He doesn't care who he throws to.
That's true.
The man literally does not care who he throws to.
He spreads the ball very well.
He does. I think that's the one thing that does concern me with the Browns. Is just, can they contain Herbert? Because with Herbert, you can't take one option. The thing with the Browns, from I haven't watched as many Brown games, but I've been keeping up, and then hearing what Dyer is saying, that's confirmed what I was saying, is that Brissett's pretty one-dimensional right now in his passing game. Herbert is fucking Doctor Strange. He doesn't care who he's throwing to. He's straight up just he doesn't care. He will throw to whoever's open.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that scares me here for the Browns, and I'm gonna go against the grain here. It's a toss-up game. This is a close game. This is a flip a coin. I think Herbert at the end of the day is going to have too many targets. Give me the Chargers. Close game.
Okay.
But give me the Chargers.
Listen, I'm with you. I could see the Browns winning this close. I could see the Chargers running away with it.
Because the question is the defense.
Exactly. And if the Browns get into a hole early, you're not going to be able to feed Hunt and Chubb like you need to.
Correct.
And you're going to put that game on Brissett's shoulders. And if he's got to go out there and win it himself, I don't like the way that looks.
Well, I want to do 2 quick games. We'll make these super quick just to go through this. The first game, and then we'll have the game of the week. And then we'll do Tua talk. The first game, though, before game of the week, will be the Eagles at the Cardinals. 4-0 Eagles taking on your 2-2 Cardinals. I really feel that the Eagles are kind of legit right now. Jalen Hurts has been playing, I feel, out of his mind compared to what he was last year. Sanders has been fucking lights out for them as a running back. So this is going to be a quick and easy one for me. I'm taking the Eagles. I just don't see enough from the Cardinals. I think Coach Cool Guy he's on his way out.
Fuck the stats. Fuck the Eagles. Cardinals by 1 million.
All right.
It's not even the Cowboys fan to be talking. That's a fucker who's been born and raised in New Jersey and had to deal with Eagles fans for so long that anytime I can pick against the Eagles, I'm going to. So give me the Cardinals.
On you, Dyer.
The Cardinals have struggled too much on offense. Their offense looked better this past week, but the Eagles also have an excellent defense. And then, like you said, Jalen Hurts has come out of nowhere. I don't think anybody thought that he was going to play at this level when he was drafted. But here he is. And Miles Sanders, they got kind of like the team of misfits. Miles Sanders doesn't look like the kind of guy that should be a good runner in the league. Jalen Hurts didn't look like the kind of guy that was going to be as good as he is now. I like Philly here, and I don't think it's close.
Nice. All right. So the last game before we dive into some craziness with Tua is the Bengals and the Ravens. Bengals going to the Ravens. I have to say it. There's no way the Ravens go 0-3 at home. The Bengals offensive line is absolute dookie. I've heard this from one of our really good friends, Dyer, with Corey, talking about this nonstop. We hear it from him, and every time the Bengals are on. I personally, I'm sorry that the Bengals just do not pull us off. I know they are starting to turn things around. Joe Burrow is starting to come back around. They have got to protect this guy. He's going to die out there.
They didn't protect him last year either.
Correct, but this year it's worse. It does not look anywhere close.
How could it be worse than last year? No, what I'm saying is you're right. I'm not saying that in like the how could
No, I know.
Rhetorical statement.
It's this is bad, and I mean Lamar Jackson's having a fucking MVP type of year with the running side of things. He's in the, I want to say he's in the top, he might be in the top 8 of rushing yards this year. He might even be in the top 5, to be honest, at number 5. He's doing very well. I don't know about his passing so much, but I feel like that
11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
They can't contain him. I just see them winning this game, and they, like I said, they cannot go 0-3 at home. So I see them winning this. I'm glad to see the Bengals kind of turn things around, because that was going to be the biggest disappointment of the year, is seeing the Bengals go from the Super Bowl to the toilet bowl real quick.
Yeah, give me Baltimore. At home, night game. There's questions about Harbaugh's job, which I think are silly. I think the other Harbaugh is in more danger than this one is right now.
I would agree with that.
But give me Baltimore. They're gonna break the curse at home. They're gonna get the win over the Bengals at a rockin' M&T Bank Stadium at 8:00 at night on October night.
Yeah, Baltimore's not what they used to be, but they're still good enough on defense to make this offensive line look bad, which isn't difficult because it is by far the worst offensive line in the league, which is a crying shame because they have one of the best, one of the guys with the most potential at quarterback as there has been in the last 10 to 15 years in Joe Burrow. They're going to get him hurt, and it's more than unfortunate. It's unbelievable that they could have one of the worst offensive lines in the league like they did last year and not draft an offensive lineman in this year's draft. You could say they signed a couple guys in free agency. How's that working out for you? I don't like it. Baltimore wins this one, and the Bengals continue their march towards mediocrity.
Apparently, it's a blackout at M&T Bank as well. Throw that out there.
I want to say this real quick because my buddy's texting me. Shout out to Clint. He just said like we're an echo to ESPN because we were talking about something and then it showed up on ESPN. He just showed me Teddy Bridgewater.
We had it first, bitches.
We did do it first. So fuck them trying to steal our content. Definitely threw that out there.
We're going to Fox Sports.
But that so let's see how we turn up. What'd you say, Dyer? You were taking the Ravens?
Yes. We all took the Ravens.
So Ravens there. So I have these saved. We're going to try to go forward. We'll see who has the best record at the end of the season. So we always, going forward, I would say it looks like we did 6 college games, and we will do 4 NFL games. So
Tyler, when you edit,
close to that.
Tyler, when you edit it, give us your picks.
Yeah, put your picks in there. And if we can, we need to figure out how we can do it to where we can have it somewhere to show what our rankings are.
I can probably just make a Google Doc.
Yeah, we'll put that out there.
Google Doc. Let's talk about the elephant in the room of the NFL. I think it's safe to say, first of all, if you guys don't know what's going on with Tua Tagovailoa right now, you're living under a rock. I'm going to rant about this. I'm pretty sure that the rest of us have some pretty heavy opinions on this as well, especially Dyer with the MMA background. I want to get your take on this specifically. I think it's safe to say that the NFL this year, between what went on with the quarterback controversy, with the Browns, and then what's going on with Tua, has tarnished their image in some pretty terrible ways. I'm going to say this right off the rip. Winning is important. But there's a good chance that Tua has his career changed forever based off how shit was handled. Here's the problem with the NFL. The big thing with the NFL is not the fact that they have a concussion problem. Concussions are going to happen. It's a contact sport. It's why was it not caught when he got his first one? Why was he allowed back in the game? They ended up firing the doctor who let him go back in the game. So what does that tell you?
Oh, they know they fucked up.
Then he goes back and gets a second one inside of 8 days. And the thing with concussions, which I've learned personally and which I've also done some research on, I'm no doctor, so I don't want to say this, but say like I'm speaking like I'm a doctor. But what I've been told by doctors when I had some concussions and then what I've read recently is having a concussion and going through the protocol and coming out of it on the other side, it doesn't really affect you all that much if you have another one. It doesn't affect you a ton, is what I've been told. What does affect you is if you get a second one while you're still recovering from the first one, which is what happened here. Not only did he get a second concussion, he went into a neurological reaction.
Yeah.
And had a seizure on the field. And only then would he like, oh, we should probably not have played him. No shit, Sherlock.
They should have known better to begin with. It's just like, so going into in professional sports, I can speak only on the baseball side of this. if somebody gets concussed, which we saw the week before, if somebody gets concussed, you have tests you have to take showing that you're okay. And then there's a minimum time that you have to spend off the field. So the fact that their doctor, who should be worrying about the person's health and the issue that's going on, football is one of the roughest sports.
Yeah.
Period. And the fact that you saw literally that Sunday, the man stumbling with nobody around him, could barely make it, and yet you thought it was okay to bring him back on Thursday?
Back injury.
Get the hell out of here. That, to me, is just flat out embarrassing. It sucks because Tua's already behind the 8 ball trying to prove his point that he belongs in this league and he can be an elite quarterback. And now he's out here playing like this and putting himself in danger, which now this could be, to be honest, a career-ending injury. He's going to be, you don't know how he's going to bounce back. I've heard Dyer talk about this with me for the UFC because, and I think that's where you were trying to relate this to. Once a dude gets hit in the face, gets knocked out or gets hit, whatever in the face, they're not the same guy when they come back. A prime example, and I know this because Dyer brought this up in our group chat, was Tony Ferguson is nowhere near what he was before when he got the kick to the face. Yeah. He was fucked up. Now, granted, this dude would kill me anyway, but that goes to show stuff like that can really fuck you up. And there is no way in hell Tua should have been out there on that field. And now I personally don't feel like if he comes back, we will not see him until like week 12.
I don't know if he should even come back this year.
I agree with you on that 100%. I'm just saying that's how far is week 12 from now?
What are we in week?
We're talking
week
December.
He had 2 concussions in a span of 6 days.
No, I know. I mean, it's, to be honest, you're probably right that he should, again,
he should not see the field this year.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's scary shit.
And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like you look at Twitter. Twitter's a great place to look. Twitter's full of idiots. And the people say, "Oh, it's just a concussion." You don't fuck with the brain.
Yeah, you don't.
That's why baseball, you don't throw at the head. Ever. You don't fuck with the brain.
That's why if one of my guys
immediately
ever gets hit, I immediately protect my guys. You don't hit anybody in the head.
Fights are stopped very quickly, and UFC has a pretty robust protocol. Hockey, same shit.
Yep.
You don't fuck with the brain. Because the problem with the brain is football already has a CTE problem. We've known this.
Yep.
The long-term effects that football has had from repeated concussions and not dealing with it appropriately has literally led to people taking their lives. Taking their own lives. It's not well, that's only a chance. No, it fucking happens. 2, it affects you the rest of your life. Tua is now prone to dealing with more severe concussion consequences for every other concussion he gets now. And he's going to get more. He plays football. That's just how it works.
Yep. It's just going to be scary, man.
Let me ask you something, Derek. You are a professional. You're a professional athlete.
Yep.
Of course, you play baseball. It's a little bit different. How would your locker room take it if something like this happened and they let that player back in the game? Baseball's a little different.
It would not be. No. Well, it's not going to go very well. Even guys on the team, I think, would speak up at that point.
Because I get the whole act like a man, everyone's hurt, everyone's injured. You got the whole Watt thing where his heart's literally stopped, like, whatever. Not good. I get that. But, you're literally fucking with this dude's life. Not even his career at this point, his life. And if people want to call me soft for having that stance, go ahead, call me soft. I'll hit you over the head twice in 5 days.
And you won't hit him soft either. Whoever you're hitting in the head,
I'll hit him with a truck.
Yeah, you're getting hit.
Dyer, your thoughts?
To draw that parallel that you made with combat sports, the UFC has mandatory medical suspensions for when a fighter is, first off, when a fight is stopped as a TKO for punches, not knocked unconscious, that's a mandatory 30-day stop. Okay? If you're knocked unconscious in a fight, mandatory 45 days not in the octagon.
That's not training, correct? You're not even allowed to train then, right?
That's pretty much that's what that is.
Yeah.
Not whether or not guys do it that way or not is another story, but theoretically, yes. Tua was out there 4 days later and not completely unconscious. What happened there, again, in the combat sports community, there's a word for that. He got starched. He got knocked out so bad that his body stiffened up, and like when you starch a shirt, okay? It's a funny name for something that's not funny. Like, that is a severe reaction to head trauma. You know, if he's a fighter, he's not playing for a month and a half. He's out for 6 weeks. And if he's not out for 6 weeks in this case, he's playing with fire. Your brain does not, especially after 2 severe concussions in a very short period of time. I'm not a doctor, but anybody who has a brain in their head knows that when something like that happens, it doesn't heal quickly. Nerves don't heal quickly. Your brain doesn't heal quickly. He's not going to be ready next week. He's not going to be ready the week after that. It doesn't matter if he passes a concussion test or not. He shouldn't be out there.
I'm with you.
At this point, there has to be questions asked about how that Dolphins organization is run.
Yeah, that's weird, man. You got to protect those guys.
I get it. You're a rookie. You're a rookie coach. You're trying your best to. The players like you. Media likes you. Everyone likes you. You're doing really well. But how does this happen? How does the NFL spotter system not work? Twice.
There needs to be a doctor on that sideline that takes his helmet the first time that he gets knocked down and gets up and shakes his head and takes 2 steps and hits the deck again. He needs off that field right now, take his helmet, and he doesn't come back.
They let him go back in the game. He passed protocol. Then they fired that doctor. So what are they telling the doctors?
This all goes against everything that the NFL has tried. It's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Like, everything that the NFL has said and tried to do for this concussion issue, this is everything that used to be wrong with the situation. Even if the doctor clears them, everybody saw what happened. You don't need to be a doctor to know that he's fucked up and that he didn't just miraculously recover in 5 minutes. That's not how it works. If you can't walk, you're not better 5 minutes later. You might feel better, but you are not healed. It's like if you have surgery. A week later, you feel pretty good. But if you go out there and take a hit to the gut, if I just had hernia surgery, you're splitting all that shit back open. Just because you feel better doesn't mean you are. And that's the problem with this situation.
I think the tough part is, too, and Derek, you've spoken about this, and Stephen John spoke about this with us as well, which was, as an athlete, the worst thing for you guys is not being able to play.
100%.
Like you want to go back out there.
So what people don't understand is, like, even as an athlete, you know, we've talked about this, like Dak's dealing with this now. When you're not out there on the field, you're missing out. You're missing out on everything that's going on. And when something happens, they fail, something negative, I should say, you feel responsible because you're not out there to help them. Then not only that, now this is going to be different for Dak because Dak is the starting quarterback, so he's not going to walk around there and nobody's going to notice him. But like when you're on a baseball team and you're one of the 5 starting pitchers or one of the 8 relievers that's out there, but you're hurt, you are a ghost. You literally walk around the hallways and it's like nobody notices you. And it can get very lonely, very depressing, because not only are you not getting to play and help your teammates, but 2, it's like You get treated as if you're an outcast. You're not even a part of anything, even though you're still there and you are a part of that team. So having to deal with injuries, it sucks. I know every single athlete would give anything and everything to be out there on that field and helping their team win. But do they get that chance? No, because they have to make sure that they're hurt. The biggest scare, and that's what I'm hating about what they're doing with Dak, is rushing the return. You try to get somebody back too quick. Tua is actually, that it should be about that. You try to rush something like that, all you're doing is putting yourself at risk of, one, making things worse, which happened to Tua, and two, not being able to perform at your best because you aren't fully healthy. That's why we talked about with the Cowboys, ride this out with Cooper Rush. You're literally 3-1. Fucking just go with this because you're already doing better than you predicted with Cooper. So when Dak comes back, you want him 100%, so there is no excuses. There is no setbacks. You can go from there. The same thing should have happened with Tua. You fucking sit there and you wait. Unfortunately, yes, he's got a concussion, but we got to get this right because the last thing I want to do is not only play with a guy who's not fully there, but also endanger his life after football.
I think the scary thing is with Tua, and you're exactly right. Take the Dak situation. He hurt his hand.
Correct.
Yeah, if he comes back early, it's not good for his hand, but he's going to survive that.
Correct, yes.
You're fucking with a person's brain.
Yeah.
Right now with Tua. And I'm sure he's already had hard conversations with doctors. And we've heard other players in their memoirs talk about having hard conversations with doctors about career-ending injuries or about things that need to change or their life is going to not be the same. And that sucks. No one wants to hear that. But if he steps foot on the field again this year before December, that entire coaching staff needs to be gone.
Here's the other thing too. This is a guilty conscience too with players. I'm guilty of this. I've done it before. Sometimes we think that we're good where we are. We're healthy. We're ready to go. And that's what's frustrating. And lucky for me that I've had a great staff, a great doctor, like everybody has shut things down when I shouldn't be out there. There's times that I've tried to come back from shoulder injury or whatever it was, and the doctor or the staff, the Rangers was by far the best at this. Okay, he ain't ready. We're not sending him out there. We're not ready to do this. That's all it is. Does it suck? Fuck yes, it sucks to hear that. It sucks so bad when I'm told I can't go do something right now. I don't look like I'm ready. But you know what? They're looking out for my best interest. As an athlete, it's a hard pill to swallow because we think we're good to go. And it's just like we talked about 2 seconds ago. I feel like I'm great, but at the same time, I am not there yet where I need to be. But I want to be fucking out there. And the hardest part is we got to be patient. That's everyday life. Everyday life, we got to be patient with some of these things. We expect things to happen now. It has to be done now. But we got to understand, you got to trust the process. Everything is there for a reason. These guys, the doctors that I had here in Texas and the staff that I had here in Texas and every other place that I've been, they looked out for our best interests as players. I can definitely say that for every single team I played on, every one of those staff members looked out for our players' safety and getting them back on the field.
I think the big thing with the Tua situation, we'll move on to baseball, and I think you guys all agree with me, but I just want to bring this up, is how many layers of fuckery did this have to go through for them to let him back on the field? Not just the first game, but the second game. How many people had to turn a blind eye to what everybody on national TV saw twice?
It's going to be hard to do it now.
Like, the fact that when it happened the first time, there were other NFL players calling for him to sit. There were other coaches saying he should sit. There were doctors saying he should sit. But somehow, no one in the Miami Dolphins organization thought that was a good idea. So, like, how big is that disconnect there? How macho man has football gotten that that this can happen? It's one thing to be tough. It's another thing to have shit like this fall through. Any last thoughts on this one, Dyer?
No, how many times, like Derek, you just said, it's going to be a lot harder for this to happen again. How many times can we say that?
It should
We've
never
been
be.
saying
It
that
shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way, but for some reason it continues to be. In a situation where this was a game, everybody saw what happened. And even though he went back out onto the field there was enough people talking about that and how bad that was that he shouldn't have been in that game Thursday night 4 days later. I don't understand. Is it going to take somebody dying?
Yeah,
I fucking hope not.
but like, yes. Sadly,
Like, people, and when I say that, I mean dying on the field, because people have died from this, just not years after their career is over. This changes who you are as a person if it's bad enough.
Yeah.
It changes them. It changes it changes your mind. It changes how you act, how you react, who you are. They're not the same person. Look at Junior Seau. He was not the same person he was when he started playing football as to when he finished. Personality-wise, he had changed so much that the people around him, some of them were afraid of him. And everybody was afraid for him because he was erratic. He had no impulse control. He was depressed. And all those things that go with it. And we all know how that story ended.
remember how hard the NFL fought to keep the movie Concussion from coming out?
Mm-hmm.
And then once the movie was out, they're like, "Yeah, you're right. We need to clean up the game." Yet smelling salts are still used to cover up concussions to this day in the NFL.
You know what? This is actually a good point too. It's been brought to my attention. Antonio Brown, after his hit, is nowhere near the same person that he was before. That was one of the best wide receivers in the game. There's somebody posted an interview of his early in his career before that hit. Bro, he was unbelievable. The way he was saying things and doing it, dude, that dude was an animal. I do. I hope to God Antonio Brown is okay. I really do. I hope he's okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's just how many Antonio Browns, how many Eric LeGrand at Rutgers. It took him getting paralyzed to change targeting rules. Like how many of that needs to happen before football decides that it's okay to care about players' health and not have to be this macho man?
What's the guy's name from the Bengals? Or is it the Bengals or Steelers?
Oh, Ryan Shazier?
Yep.
You're talking about, yeah.
Yep, there's another one. They got to do something about that. They got
Even
to
baseball.
protect those.
Even baseball, which is probably as stuck in the past sport as you can get in terms of like what's the right way to say it? Rub some dirt on it.
Sure, kind of macho culture, if you will.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bigger bases,
Yeah.
padded helmets, face guards, Evo shields. No one bitched about that to make changes.
Because we knew it was going to protect those guys.
Stanton had his fucking face nearly blown off. Everyone's wearing chin guards.
Yep.
Even baseball was able to be like, wait, okay, listen,
We're going to get
The
this
bus-
right.
yeah, we gotta get this right. Football, they're too. Back in my day, fuck off. You're gonna get someone killed. Let's move on to final topic. Hard press baseball. Two things happened in our break. Albert Pujols broke a record.
Got
Aaron
to where
Judge.
I said he was going to.
You did. You did.
Called that.
You did.
Judge.
Aaron
I didn't
Judge broke a record as well. I want to say something about Aaron Judge. I've been on a rant recently. I've been on a rant today. I'm going to go on one more rant. If you are going to discount every single record, and if you're going to discount a record that involved PEDs, you have to discount every accomplishment in which PEDs had an effect on. You can't cherry pick.
Here's the only thing with that too, though. If you're going to bring in all these, PD situations, whatever, let's not forget about back in the day, beforehand, guys were taking greenies. Those became illegal. Stuff that was being used however long back and then being cut off at some point has to be like, there has to be a line too, because, guys taking greenies back in the day is, to me, it's like as similar as taking steroids. You have the advantage. You guys made it illegal, so clearly it must have been something that it played a factor into the game. So I'm over the whole bullshit stuff of steroids and everything, because each decade or wherever you want to go with this, there was something that was used that finally got taken away. And the one that stands out to me is obviously greenies.
I just
and yes, I agree with this too. Steroids don't make you hit a ball better,
no.
But yes, it does help you hit the ball farther. Now, for those that are asking what greenies are, greenie is like, I don't know how you want to put it. I guess you could say it's like, obviously it's not this. So I want to clear that up. It's not this. It's like Coke, having Coke. If they,
well, the Mets did that anyway.
They put it in coffee. Well, that's another. We can go there later.
It is an amphetamine, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But they would put it in like their coffee, and it was like you could be hungover as shit and take one of those things, and you were ready to fucking knock down a wall. From everything that I was told about it from guys that I've played with or against in the past, that was one of the things that stood out. So if people are going to sit here and make the comment about steroids, then you need to put in the other stuff in there too. I know that back in the day, guys played on cocaine. I know, there's plenty of things that are out there, and with the steroids steroids comparison, yeah, you don't hit the ball or see the ball better, but you do hit it farther. But that, to me, it's still, you have to make contact with the ball. And it did go on both sides of the field. Guys started throwing harder. Guys started hitting farther. There was a fair balance both sides. So it's not like it was one side had the advantage over the other. I mean,
the thing that I'm getting at, though, is...
Oh, yeah, wait, hold on. What's that one pitcher that took fucking LSD? And threw
a no hitter on LSD.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's illegal.
My man was seeing dragons.
Are we gonna fucking put an asterisk next to him for that? Like,
we should. We can put a different kind of asterisk. This should count as 2.
This is 2 records. The guy did fucking a lot. Probably could have thrown another fucking 18 innings on that. But that's my point. Like, people are saying Mantle played drunk.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people that played high. I'm sure that there's people that have been coked out. There's whatever other shit you could do and take. I'm sure that's happened at some point in these games. I'm over the steroid stuff.
What gets me, though, is there's a lot of Yankee fans, I'm just going to say it, who are saying that Aaron Judge is the true record because Barry Bonds was PED. And one of them is Roger Maris's son.
I know, I saw that.
Here's what I'm getting at with that, though. All right, Yankee fans, you want that? You want to play that game? We're gonna take away every one of your World Series from one of your PED teams.
But Jason Giambi was juiced to the gills when he was playing for the Yankees.
Because anything PEDs touches, they can't count. By your logic, that can't count. So every World Series trophy that you have, in which there was a contributing player on that team that used PEDs, and I will guarantee you, just the A-Rods alone, you're going to lose quite a few. You're going to lose quite a few rings there. You're going to vacate quite a few titles. You can't cherry pick. You can't be okay with your team being roided up and beating another team that's roided up in a World Series, but not be okay with Barry Bonds' home run record. You can't have it both ways. Pick one. Either you're against PEDs and therefore you should vacate your World Series titles, or you don't care.
The only thing that would wait, hold on. What'd you just say?
You can't both So you can't bitch about Bonds taking PEDs and not care about your PED teams winning World Series.
Yeah.
So either if you don't want Bonds' home run record to count, then all those World Series the Yankees won with teams that were roided up should be vacated. That's what I'm saying.
The only
You
thing
can't have
that
it both ways.
the only thing that would bother me the most is the Astros thing. Stealing the signs.
That's different. That's different.
Correct. No, I know.
Way after PEDs.
Correct. But that, to me, that one's one that 100% deserves the asterisk.
Right. Yes. Agreed. But I'm just
saying.
saying.
The steroids thing, I mean, Jamie said it best. Everyone was probably on steroids. It's an even playing field. That's it.
Steroids save baseball.
Could be, yeah. And
Steroids literally save baseball.
I agree. And yeah, this is true too. Like, they're both good accomplishments.
Oh,
Aaron Judge has the American League home run record. Bonds has the Major League record. Plain and simple. That's it. And
the National
on
League
top
record.
of, well, yeah, he does have that too. And the thing is, like, Bonds truly never got caught with steroids.
It was kind of obvious, but
I 100% I agree, because he never hit any more home runs over, what was it, 57 or something like that. Didn't have a year above that, and then all of a sudden he has 73. I get it. But yeah, if you don't catch somebody and you've done everything to prove, now granted we don't know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know that he took steroids or he didn't take steroids. The thing is, you never caught him. And you continued to test him and do everything that was asked, and he followed, he did it all, and he still got nothing. That's just the way it is. And yes, I agree with that comment so much, and I fucking hate it because we had this conversation about, I forget, whoever was not the unanimous vote into the Hall of Fame.
And Griffey was not unanimous.
Yeah.
Junior.
He's a Hall of Famer without a doubt. And somebody got their feelings hurt from him, so they don't like him. It's best. Wait, Jeff Passan tweeted, "It's best Judge, great accomplishment. Bonds home run king, nothing to discuss." Okay,
Not wrong.
yeah. I mean, I have to say that, yeah.
But we'll talk postseason in a minute, real quick. But the one thing I do want to throw out there, because this is impressive to me, you want to talk about. This actually goes to what you've been saying, Derek, for the longest time, and you too, Dyer, the longest time about adjusting batters not being able to adjust their swings when it comes to the shift. I want to point your attention to Mr. Jeff McNeil of the New York Mets. He won the batting title today in the National League. Jeff McNeil in the previous 2 years was statistically one of the unluckiest players in baseball, meaning he hit into the shift tremendously over the last 2-3 years. He went from doing that to winning a batting title this year. So that adds a lot of fuel to the fire that you, Derek, and Dyer have been saying for the longest time, which is hit it where they ain't.
Correct.
Not impossible. If you're
He
a
did
good hitter, you're a good hitter.
You're gonna figure
Make an
things
adjustment.
He did it. And like I said, he went from being statistically one of the unluckiest batters in the league. His BABIP was really not there for him. He hit into the shift a lot, made an adjustment, won the batting title this year. Like that's adjustments.
Love it.
That's big time adjustments. Did I see correctly? Is Miggy coming back next year?
I don't think so. I think he might be retired. He could be. But I do want to say though, like,
could be wrong.
The accomplishments from Judge and Pujols, that was cool as shit to watch, especially as being a fan on the outside now. Now that I didn't get to play play this year
Yeah,
in
he's
the
back
big
next
leagues.
year. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's gonna one more year to finish contract, so he's gonna do it. That'll be a good retirement tour. I do want to say the only thing I was kind of disappointed in is obviously Judge was chasing the home run record, and they would interrupt, what other sports events were on to show the at bats. I felt like Pujols deserved that too.
They didn't give it to him, and they should have.
And yeah, I definitely feel that should have happened. Pujols should have got more exposure for somebody who's in 700. We don't know when the next time we're going to see that is. We really don't. It's an incredible accomplishment.
I don't know if we ever will.
We might not. With the way baseball's trending, we're not going to see a lot of things, which I would like to talk about that one day is one of the episodes of just pure baseball talk, ripping apart the new pitch clock, everything that they're trying to enforce in the big leagues.
Hamels on, we'll do it.
And yeah, we can get Hamels on there. Is that what you said? Or
Yeah,
did you
get
say
Hamels on. We
okay.
can let two pitchers go at it against the new MLB rules. I think it's a great idea.
We'll be on the same page. We already talked
I know,
about
but that's why I think it'd be great.
The other thing that pissed me off too, I get what we're trying to do, but I think it's fucking stupid. The Apple TV for Pujols' game is embarrassing. You should not have done that. That needs to be fucking televised. That should have been on MLB Network or whatever, any baseball just whatever. That game should have been. They should have been out there. The way that they treated Judge, which judges, to me, they're both very important, but I still think you give Judge that much credit, you need to give Pujols his. Pujols is at 700 home runs, and he was not getting the attention, and it was not even a true televised game. It was on fucking Apple TV. Don't get me wrong, I love Apple TV too, but that's stupid.
They're gonna get NFL Sunday ticket.
I know they are. I know what they're doing. This whole Amazon bullshit too sucks, but
I'll take Apple over Amazon. Apple doesn't drop a stream.
That's true. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I think one, great accomplishments. I'm in both of their books. They're in both of mine. Cool thing I get to say and do and see. But man, I was hoping for more out of Judge. I mean, he did great. I'm not saying, when I say more, I predicted he was going to have more home runs. The only thing I did get pissed about, I saw this while he was here in Texas. They were trying to say that they weren't pitching to him. Let's not be stupid. Come on. They're pitching to him. He didn't walk. They challenged him. They
said they were going to challenge him.
And that's what they did. The whole point of pitching is to challenge the hitters. It's not throw dick shots and see how far he can fucking hit the ball. Let's go.
If anything, they gave him a softball.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. If anything, they pitched to him instead of.
Right. But the thing is, you challenged him. They went fucking after him. So I hate that. Yes.
The wackiness of the start times for the wild cards is back. Of course, this wild card's a little bit different this year because technically you can win your division and still be in the wild card. St. Louis Cardinals make 0 sense, but here we are.
Wait, they're in the wild card game?
Yeah.
It was Cleveland.
Stupid. That's so dumb.
And here's the other worst part about the new rules this year. The Mets and the Braves finished with the exact same record in the NL East. Eric, what would have happened last year? There's a game that would have happened.
Yes, there would have been a play-in game. Oh, okay, here we go. I finally got the schedule up. That's what I was trying. Sorry, I was trying to find it.
Game 163. It's whatever. The Mets end up getting a worse spot, but there could be an argument that the Mets literally just need to win one game. They need to win one game in Atlanta. That's all they need to do. But Atlanta wanted it more. That team could be on the road for a repeat the way they're playing right now. That team is well coached. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're here to win. The Braves could very well win this whole thing. Anyway, let's go back to the wackiness of this. If you're a Cleveland fan or a Tampa Bay fan, I'm sorry. You'll be getting up for a 12:07 p.m. Eastern time game on Friday. If you live on the West Coast, it's a coffee game. Philadelphia at St. Louis is a 2:07 p.m. Eastern game on ABC. Good for it being back on ABC though. Seattle at Toronto is a 4:07 p.m. game, and the Padres at the Mets, of course, 8 p.m. game on ESPN. The Mets will get all the primetime games. That's just how it's going to be.
Let's run through these predictions real quick too while we're at it. So let's start with Series 1. We got Tampa Bay at we're just Tampa Bay versus Cleveland. This is not.
Remember,
we're doing the series.
And remember, all games are home games. This in the wild card round. the home field advantage stays with the higher seed.
So
all 3 games
there.
will be in Cleveland.
Oh.
All 3 games will be in Seattle. All 3 games will be in Toronto. All 3 games will be in New York.
Oh, dope. Okay. All right. So let's take that into consideration.
It's around it's a best of 3. So
we'll make these.
It's a best. Yeah.
We'll make these quick. Dyer, take it away. I want you to go first, or actually, I want you to go last. This is your team. So, I'm going to go ahead and just because I love what this team has been doing, it's time to say bye-bye to the analytical baseball team. The bullshit is done. Cleveland will win this series.
I agree too. Cleveland's going to win the first 2 games under that bright noon sunshine over there in Cleveland. The series will be over by 4:00 on Saturday. Cleveland by 2.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Cleveland's top 3 pitchers are it's 3 of the toughest pitchers to hit against in the league. I mean, you got Shane Bieber out there. Sticks McKenzie's had a great year. I don't think it goes any farther than that. I would think he's going to get the game 2 start. I see a series sweep here in the short 2-game series. It's going to be Cleveland wins it and moves on.
The next series we have Philadelphia taking on St. Louis. I really kind of wanted to have that fairy tale ending for Pujols. I was hoping to get some more home runs out of him, and we will. I've got St. Louis winning that one. Philly is good, but I don't feel like they're good enough. They don't have enough pitching. I hate to say it. I really wanted to see Philly go a little bit farther into the distance, but this one's going to be a St. Louis show.
I agree with you here. Not to all agree with this one. I just Philly got them by the skin of their teeth. Good for them getting back in. 3 NL East teams in the playoffs. That says a lot for the NL East. Is it just the NL East and the AL East? Are they the only 2 that did that?
I think so, yeah.
So good for the NL East, 3 teams in there. The Phillies just squoking though. They barely got in.
I just don't feel
But
like
they
they're
did.
playing good ball.
I agree. I think Seattle's Seattle. I'm looking at the next game. I think St. Louis is riding too much of a high right now. I think that this is going to be theirs for the taking. Saturday is going to be a night game for them, an 7:30 start local time in St. Louis. Our editor's not going to let me say this, diehard Cubs fan, but St. Louis in 2.
How can you pick against St. Louis in this series? St. Louis just loves October baseball. They live for it. St. Louis in 2 all day.
Well, that brings us to the next game, and I feel like
this is a fun one.
These 2 are going to be the next 2 are really good to watch. Seattle takes on Toronto. Obviously playing in the Toronto organization, that was fun. It's a good ball club. But Seattle is the better team. I have Seattle beating Toronto. I just feel with the moves that Seattle has made, the strides that they've been doing, I feel more confident watching Seattle, and they're playing good baseball at the perfect time. It's been a while since Seattle's done it, but I agree with Joey on this. It is going to go 3 games, and Seattle is going to win this in Toronto, a long ways from home. But man, happy flights. See you back in Seattle.
Seattle is gonna be without Jesse Winker.
That's okay.
Which is not good. It's not great for them. But I agree with this. This is going 3. Seattle wants it more. End of the day, Seattle wants it more. They're back in the playoffs for the first time in a very, very, very long time. A very young, very hungry team. Seattle in 3. I think they win 1 in 3.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is an exciting young team. I really hope that they can keep this nucleus together and add some more to it because they're fun to watch. It reminds me of my own squad that I'm pulling for. So I think Toronto's a good enough team to take one of these games, but I think ultimately Seattle's going to come out on top.
Well, with that being said, we go to the next game, and this one is going to also be a fucking gem. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited. I haven't been watching much baseball, but now that playoff baseball is here, I might as well start practicing, getting myself ready for that opportunity that might come my way, as maybe doing announcing, whatever. But besides that, it is slamming San Diego taking on your New York Metropolitans. And man, I gotta say, I told you from the beginning, Terps, when I came in here, the Mets were my team to pick to go to the World Series. San Diego hasn't really played as well as I thought they would, but they did get themselves into the playoff baseball where it becomes a new thing of 0-0. Records are out. I'm taking slamming San Diego because the Mets are struggle bussing right now.
Oh, excuse me. Dyer, you're up.
And everything here points to San Diego. Everything that they've done, everything that they continue to do, they finally made it this year after spending all that money and getting all these guys. And for that reason, I'm taking the Mets because this is just one step in the right direction, but falling off the cliff like they did last year, just a little bit farther of a fall that they have now. The Mets are going to figure it out. They'll be totally fine. And they got it all ironed out versus San Diego.
The Mets have not announced their starting pitcher yet. It'll be either DeGrom or Scherzer in game 1, with whichever one's not pitching most likely in game 2. Damn it. The Mets should also have Starling Marte back as well, which will be huge for them. On top of that, Citi Field's going to be fucking electric. It is all night games. If Edwin Diaz is coming into this game, the game's over. He's not going to drop one at Citi Field. It's just not going to happen. Listen, I'm a Mets fan. I love this team, and my heart tells me one thing, my brain tells me another thing. But fuck it, let's go with the heart because it's going to crush that Mets in 2.
Best 2 out of 3 always go with the better pitching.
And here's the thing: I don't trust the Padres.
No,
at all.
Well, that's good because only one of us got a different pick, and that was the last game. We all had the same going into that. We clearly can't pick the other ones to do that as well
until we see.
So that means we have to do next week's show on Monday, October 10th.
I can do it. Whoa,
Monday, fun day.
And Tyler's gonna have a quick turnaround, buddy.
So, but that's
Tyler,
the thing
you best be ready.
We have to do it just because of playoff baseball. That's the only reason for that, because we'll have New York, Houston, Atlanta, Los Angeles still waiting to play some baseball. Make sure that's
I would love to see a Mets Braves.
I think that would be great to see, just because of when you brought up the Edwin Diaz thing. I thought that was funny because of what's his name.
He struck out 3 pitches.
Yeah, you just don't do that. That shouldn't have happened.
Well, that's his music. He walks up to that.
He does?
Yes. He does walk up to that. But Diaz has had it for longer.
Correct.
For a lot longer. And then Diaz was like, here's 3 strikes. Fuck you.
And he made him look silly. So
yeah. I
play
think
stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's all I got.
I think the big thing for me with the Mets, going with the Mets here, they had a little bit of a slap against the Braves. I think then they were able to kind of settle down, kind of understand where they're going to be now. I think Chris Bassett said it best when they were talking about it. He says, yes, we wanted to win the division, but the ultimate goal is the World Series.
It's true.
And they're a 101 win team. They know they can do it. They have the bats to do it. They have the pitching to do it. It's a 2-game series. It could be a 2-game series for them. Excuse me. Big thing is, it's all at home, and it's gonna be cold.
Ball will not be flying.
It is a New York baseball game through and through. That's gonna be an interesting thing to watch for both the Mets and the Yankees, just because of that factor. I just think that on paper the Mets should win this in 2 games. My heart's telling me I'm taking them in 2 games. I could easily see this being a 1-1 game 3, and I'm going to be sweating my ass off.
But it's going to be interesting.
2 more quick tidbits before we call it a day. White Sox manager Tony La Russa will not be returning to the team. Thank the fucking Lord.
That ruined that team. That team should be in the playoffs. I hate to say it.
Go out there and get someone good the players want. He should not be anywhere near that clubhouse. I'll give him kudos for walking away from the team. I don't think it was his decision.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry. 2 more things after that. I only had 1 more thing, but I just remember this. Royals fired Mike Matheny as we were doing this podcast today. Everyone saw that coming from a mile away.
And the pitching coach.
Clean house is what's going to happen eventually there. So that is another big piece of news that we saw. And I want to give a huge shout out to friend of the podcast, Carlos Rodon, finished with a 2.88 ERA, an MLB leading 2.25 FIP, and an MLB best 12 Ks per 9.
He was lights out.
He's out.
Good.
He will be a Ranger. Is my prediction.
Still calling
next
it?
year. Yeah. He's going to opt out. He's not staying.
Oh,
there.
no. Yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah.
He's going to get his bag.
So I hope the Rangers go and they go pick up pitching. I've told them multiple times, you got to go get pitching. If you're going to spend that kind of money on hitting, you better go spend some money on some pitching.
Maybe they bring you back now that certain people are gone.
Highly doubt it, but we're going to give it a try.
Other than that,
I got one last quick oh, go ahead. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Oh, well, I'm done with sports topics. I was just going to say, huge congratulations to friend of the podcast, my very good friend, King Jamie, on getting married.
Yes.
Awesome wedding. I had a blast there. I was honored to be involved in your wedding. I had to behave myself, pictures and all that fun shit. But awesome that your day went well. Super happy for you guys. Just got to see 2 of my really close friends get married this year. That's always awesome. Fucking awesome to see.
Very, very special. Congratulations on that too. That's huge. Very happy for you guys. I know you tried to call me, but I was occupado, which I sent a nice, lovely message to Jamie to represent him and tell him that I care about what he's doing and how great that is of him. And it's quite the accomplishment. So congrats on that, buddy.
Congrats. Happy for you, brother.
Anything else you 2 want to add before we end this show?
Well, 2 things. First, I was going to make this one real quick. Obviously, everybody saw the football player for the Rams tackle. Mr. Wagner tackled a streaker, or not a streaker, but whatever, a protester, whatever you want to call him, on the field. Well, now this protester decided to file a police report after Wagner tackled him. And for me, I hope to God this goes nowhere for him, because that fucking moron went onto the field. You chose to go on the field. You took every bit of action that was going to possibly happen because your dumbass wanted to go and stop a game on live TV to act a fool, and you got body bagged by a fucking football player. That sucks for you. You shouldn't have been out there in the first place. That's called trespassing. Shouldn't have done it. Go fuck yourself. I hope to God you do not win this case or even get to have a case.
He's calling it brutal. Wow. Hit the wrong one. He's calling it brutal assault.
Yeah.
Is what he's calling it.
He deserved every bit of it.
He was literally, his shirt was advertising a don't kill farm animals for food, eat vegan website. So that kind of just fits a stereotype. Just gonna say it.
Fuck that.
Nothing wrong with veganism.
I'm glad he got pummeled.
Look, I think that I don't support vigilante justice, so I think that a judge should probably rule in the favor of the protester here and sentence him to 1 minute of community service as his sentence.
Yeah, well, that was good, Dyer.
What are those honorary sentences where they sue for like $1?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm joking, by the way. I wish that you would have tackled him harder.
I personally would have loved to have seen that, to be honest. But the last thing I was going to bring up too, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk about your trip out here, being able to clear your head. I know it's a mental thing.
Yeah, we could do
talked about, but if you want to do it now, we can. If you want to wait till, okay,
that's cool.
So I'm going to step over my boundaries here on this one because I know this isn't about me. This is about somebody else, which is Terps. Those that were in here before, I want to say that was maybe 3 episodes ago or 4.
Longer now. Wow. Sorry. I just became like
whenever it was, Terps gave everybody what he's been dealing with, what he's going through. I'm leaving that for him to say, but I invited him to come down to Dallas, get away from everything. You know, sometimes not only as friends, we care about each other, but it's always good to be able to help somebody get away from something that's going to help them step away from reality, I guess you could put it. And what I mean by that is people that know me, how I am. 1, I'm a busy person. I keep myself active. But 2, if I can help somebody get away from something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to help you get to where you need to be and keep your mind where it needs to be rather than where it shouldn't be. And not going to lie, the first moment that Terps got here, I was a dick at the first 10 minutes just because he made one comment. Do you remember what your comment was?
Which one?
There's only one that I jumped at you on.
I
Fuck
remember.
Michigan.
No, he definitely didn't say that at all. He knew better.
I kind of did.
I
No,
can't
I
believe
did in
you
NASCAR.
Huh?
I did when we were playing, y'all.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But that's okay. That's okay
I remember
because we were
saying-
playing each other.
Yeah. I remember saying something about something going on. And
No, well, yes, that was part, but no.
and you said, I'm gonna let you say this once. I'm gonna let you get it off your chest once. Now that you've said it, we're not talking about it again for the rest of the.
Okay, so I'll give you that. That was part of it. The
That's
other
the only one I
part
remember.
was talking about, it's okay, I'm going to die anyway.
Oh, I don't even remember saying that. I probably did though.
I do because I hate that. And I jumped on you right away. And that's one thing that I try to encourage to you as friends, people that are in here watching, and you got somebody who's dealing with something that can be fatal. That's the last thing that you should be able to hear come out of their mouths. And I made that commitment right away when Terps got here. I said, look, you're here. You're going to have a good time. You're going to get away from everything and you're going to get to relax. But the last thing you're going to do is say anything negative about yourself. And I will jump all over you every time you fucking do it. So I told him, if you're going to do it, which that's what he just said a second ago, you can say it once, but that's it. I don't ever want to hear it come out of your fucking mouth again. And I literally said it just like that because that's the thing is, as a friend, I want you to keep a positive mindset. And he knows that. I say it in every text message that we talk about. It's the positive mindset. The negativity can go so far. And for me, I felt like this was a perfect trip for Terps to come down here, clear his head, not think about the stuff that he's been dealing with, and focus more on himself. We as people tend to worry about other people's feelings, viewings, whatever you want, judging, whatever it is, and we forget about our own. And that's the thing that Terps was forgetting while he was here. And he didn't know I was going to say any of this stuff now. I never told him. I was literally coming straight out of the box with this and telling him how this trip was. And that's why, to me, this was a big trip for him to get out of here. And not only that, he went and saw Jamie. And me and Jamie text with each other too. And that was the thing. Terps was a different person when he showed up here at the beginning. And then when he got to Jamie, he was also an even different person, but for the better. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I was glad that he got to come down here, clear his head, be himself again, and focus on Terps, not outside of Terps's bubble, as I want to put it.
I'm also like one of the best house guests people ever have, just saying.
You are?
Yeah.
It's kind of easy to occupy Bruce.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can't take credit for that. Hell, anybody that came over here could do it. Somebody could come try and rob me and they would still have a better time with, or Bruce would be fine.
They wouldn't actually get a chance to rob you because Bruce would be too busy playing with them.
Correct. But that was my whole point, is I wanted you to be able to have a getaway. We talked about this before in recent texts. And my whole point of this whole thing of what I'm saying is, for you that are listening, and we've talked about mental side of things, we've talked about health issues in this podcast before. Again, you don't know what somebody's truly going to. Sometimes it takes a lot to pull it out of them, to get them to say what's really going on. And it took a while to get it out of Terps, and we got it. But the thing is, once we got it, now we had to show him how to get back to being himself. And being here, I felt like that's what we did. And yeah, I wasn't here all the time because I did my normal stuff that I needed to do, but it still gave him a chance to be away from everything else and focus on himself. So my whole point is, when you see people out there in everyday life, make sure that you go out and see what somebody's dealing with, help them, be there for them. It may not come out right away, but the more you continue to show them the love or be there for them or talk to them and help them, it's going to go a lot farther than you think. And sometimes as people, as we talked about earlier, we try to be macho man and too cool for it all. Fuck all that. Not once did I ever do that to Terps while I was here, or have I ever done that in a text message. Neither is Dyer, neither is Noam, none of these guys have ever done these kind of things. We're all there for each other, and that's what it needs to be. So one, I wanted to say personally, I'm glad you got here and you got to clear your head. You can already see the response, not only in the text messages, but also just how you seem to be everyday life now going forward. So
yeah, it definitely helped. Just not just being able to remove yourself from a negative situation, being able to have shit to do is another big thing. And then also just kind of over those 2 weeks and then the wedding, or week and a half, and then the wedding, and then some things that have happened since that I won't say on the podcast. It just kind of was like, all right, you know what? You got this shit. Like, let's just do it. Like, it's fine. And I don't say that in like an offhand, like shove off kind of, I think you know what I mean. I think y'all know what I mean.
yeah.
But I think it just became this like, let me get back to being me a little bit, because a lot of y'all don't know this side of it, but I had talked about this a ton when we did the podcast. These two know about it. Up until going to Dallas, there were a number of times where Derek or Dyer or Noam or Jamie would text me and be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm at the doctor's.
Yeah, it was quite
And
a
then
bit.
it was just nonstop doctor, hospital, 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 doctor, hospital, doctor. And that just got to the point where it's like, all right, well, I needed to escape. I mean, I wanted to be able to do something. I wanted to be able to have fun, just kind of be myself again. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do more of. It's a vacation doesn't have to be fancy. I think that's the big thing. An escape doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to go to Disney World to have a good time. You can. Saying you can't.
You definitely
But sometimes you 100% can. But sometimes just a very easy escape. Fuck it. I spent most mornings sitting on one of Derek's armchairs.
Yes, you did. I felt like you never moved sometimes.
I did move. I did. It's just that's a comfy chair. But I think it was big for me, and I encourage anyone else out there who's just having a rough time with whatever it is. Call a friend, just be like, hey, can I come crash for like a weekend? We don't gotta do anything. We don't gotta do shit. And just come crash.
Yep.
Just get yourself out of a situation that you're in. We'll have fun.
It's
all you gotta
clearing
do.
your head. That's the main thing.
Will I need to clear my head again at some point? Probably. That's just the circle of life.
It's normal.
Exactly. But it's how you get there. It's learning who's around you, learning who's not around you, and learning how to handle that. That was big. And sometimes you need your friends to be a little bit of a dick. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Dyer, anything to add, or are we good to end?
Good, man. I'm glad you're in a better space, a better place.
I'm coughing more though. Again, sucks.
That Texas.
I'm convinced it's New Jersey. I'm convinced it's New Jersey air, because I was not coughing as much in Dallas,
Texas air.
and I was coughing more in Tennessee, but nowhere near as much as I was in New Jersey.
Texas and Tennessee air.
Yeah,
It's the humidity, like when you have
I
a
think it's part of it,
humidifier. Yeah.
I have a dehumidifier in my room.
Texas air.
Yeah, the move to Texas is probably just gonna have to happen. I need to find money first. Hashtag GoFundTerps. But that's going to do it for us. Actually, not too bad. 2 hours, 16 minutes unedited. Look at us go.
We did go. I mean, we went farther, but it's okay. There was a lot to cover. It was 2 weeks, basically.
Oh, well, Tyler's good editor. He'll cut it down anyway. I'm not too worried about it.
He is the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. Oh, I suck. One more thing. 60 feet 6 inches. Be sure to be following their Instagram, their Twitter account. There will be more announcements coming out soon.
It's actually coming out very soon about the concert. I can actually talk about it. We could say it. November 10th, we are doing for those that are in Texas, the Lava Cantina. Please come out, support the cause. It's for 60 feet 6. Come say hi. We will have everybody here. But it's 60 feet 6, helping kids with cancer. That's my foundation. You can go to it at 60feet6.org. Make sure it's not. It's literally written out 60 or the number 60 feet 6.org. Check it out. We're going to put everything out soon. It should be, by the time you guys are listening to this, out on the website to get tickets, which should be this weekend. I've been pushing hard to get this going because I'm trying to put it out there. I'm not allowed to say who's performing yet.
It's a really good performer, though.
But I promise you will not be disappointed. I wish I could say it, but I have to wait until a certain date to where I'm allowed to. But you will not be disappointed. I promise you that. It will be a lot of fun. We're going to have, obviously, the concert. We're going to get to hang out. You'll see me. I'll be all over the place because I just love interacting with fans. And 2, we are going to actually get to bring some of the kids there that could be dealing with cancer. So we get to motivate them, get to hear their story and get to hear from them, which is cool because last year we got to hear from Jake, and Jake gave one of the coolest fucking speeches I've ever got to hear from a kid. I mean, he wanted the mic. He wasn't nervous. He got up on stage and man, did he let it go. It was his first concert. First off, I want to throw that out there. Chase Rice. He got to announce Chase Rice out onto the stage. Not only that, he got to hang out on the stage with us, hang out, tell his story. And then it was, he did a cheers with us. I'm trying to think of the right way so people don't think I gave this kid alcohol, because we didn't. But he did a toast with us, which was really cool. Just motivated the whole crew, the group, and everybody that was there. It's just such a fun time. You'll get to see everybody there, friends, family. I know Cole Hamels will be there. That's a fact. You might see some other guys. I think Michael Young might be there. Marty Turco for hockey fans. There's quite a group that will be there as well. So it'll be definitely something to check out. November 10th.
I'll be there.
Dyer
Derek
will be there.
Dyer will be there.
I kind of have to be there.
The whole crew.
Choppy will be there.
Choppy will be there. I think we're still getting Tyler.
We might, like I said, we might have everybody here.
I think we're still getting Tyler. I also know Mr. King Jamie is trying to make it down this year. Crazy Action Mod in the channel, good friend of mine.
Carlos Rodon might be down there too.
Tickets. Carlos might be down there. If you guys are friends of the podcast or friends of our stream, come say hi. That's how we met Snang last year.
Yep.
Got to have a beer with him. Come say hi. It will be very difficult for you to get to Derek. You have a better chance of getting to Derek and meeting him and saying hi if you find myself, Dyer, or Choppy. Come find us. Come say hi. We'll make sure you get a picture with Derek and say hi to Derek, just because he's going to be going 5 bazillion miles an hour.
I do. I try to go everywhere. I try to see as many people as I can and talk and meet with everybody and also get to enjoy the show, because that's one thing I do is I want to be able to check that out too. But it'll be fun. It's in Dallas, like I said, November 10th, Lava Cantina. Check it out. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I am going to be putting it out there, as well as follow the 60 Feet 6 on Instagram. They will also be putting it out there as well. And I'm sure, obviously, Terps, Dyer, Choppy, everybody will be putting it out there as well. But again, please save the date, November 10th, Lava Cantina, Dallas, Texas. It's going to be a damn good time.
Maybe we'll do some live off the Fairpool stuff too. Who knows? We're going to have cameras.
I mean, you guys might be able to. I might not be able to talk, but yeah, you guys.
Well, not on that day. We have other days.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, we'll have other days. We'll figure it out. But that is actually going to do it for us here at Off the Fairpool, episode 30. Again, be sure you go check out 60 Feet 6. Wow. I'm gonna retake that one. That's a cut there, Tyler. You erased the whole last 30 seconds. That's gonna do it for myself, Derek, and Dyer. For all of us here at Off the Fairable, thanks for listening. Listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, any of those places. Be sure to give us a like, a follow, or a comment. Greatly appreciate that. Your listenership has been fucking awesome. If you're watching on Twitch and you didn't catch all, be sure to catch it on Spotify, Podcast, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, probably within the next day or two. Again, for those of you interested in purchasing tickets and coming out to the event, you can visit 60feet6.org. That is 60feet6.org. And we will see you guys next Monday. We're going to talk some baseball. See ya.
Deuces.